Hello and welcome to DCB Live episode number 304, the Step on a Lego edition, brought to you by Briar Rabbit, aka the River Rat. River Rabbit, as his clan knows him as, the River Folk.
Oh yes, the River Folk have been kind to me. They never threatened to eat me, not even once. When the river is low and the fish are fleeting, no cannibalism is allowed on the river.
I've never had anyone say I can't raid because I'm out kayaking, and I didn't know whether Briar was pulling the piss and he actually was kayaking or if it was just a joke. Turns out it was kayaking.
Yeah,
I sent pictures.
I don't know.
Did you see those beautiful deer? They were right on the side of the river, just drinking water, watching me go by.
Wow, grazing, just being like, wow, look at that. It's a Briar Rabbit in the water.
Like, oh. Right.
How's that little kayak keep that big fat dude afloat?
Briar of the River Folk, first of his name, floating down the river. Ahoy, ye matey.
Ahoy, ye mateys.
Oh, man.
So,
Yeah.
We got a busy show today. We got a busy show.
There's some stuff to talk about.
Controversies.
Many, actually. There's multiple controversies.
Well, I think we should go in chronological because we didn't get the chance to talk about the raid.
Okay.
Well, no, I was thinking we should start with the raid because the raid was Friday. Let's talk about the raid, right?
That would be a good podcast name.
It feels like it's so far away. Like it feels like it's been a month since the raid.
Yeah.
It does feel like it's been a while.
You've already done 20 raids.
It doesn't. It feels like less than a week to me.
Well, you've been on the river.
You've been kayaking.
Yeah. You're sun bleached. You fell asleep face down in the kayak, half naked.
I do have a hatch that I can keep beers in.
Yeah. Oh, a beer hatch on the river?
Uh-huh.
Is that supposed to be for like a life jacket?
But the raid.
No beer.
The raid. No, you wear the life jacket.
Yeah, you have a spare life jacket in the hatch, but if you're Briar, you empty it and throw beer in there and other flammable items like fireworks, Molotov cocktails.
Wait, beer is flammable?
No, I'm saying you have beer and other and flammable items. Okay.
Flammable items.
Yeah, because you're Briar. You're gonna blow stuff up. You're gonna light the bridge on fire, and then
Kayak underneath.
I see randomism in chat said chronologically Tefty dodged raiding with Watson Matt. No, he didn't. He did it later that night.
Yeah, I raided.
Yes, I did.
What are you
Yes,
talking about?
And it was when Mylan had forgot how to raid. Which so
Yeah, he needed a hand.
Listen here. Okay.
He needed a couple
Everyone
extra
watching my
hands.
stream, I was hard carrying Tomo, okay? Covering his knights, doing his ogre, and because of that, I forgot
you weren't
me
doing
own
your
knights.
job.
You weren't doing your ogre at night. Huh.
Listen, I was doing your job, so that's why my job is being
He's lying.
It doesn't pay. It doesn't pay to be helpful, Mylan. You just gotta focus on yourself, get your job done, and let other people fail.
I think it's fine.
Yes.
I think it's fine though because Mylan is the originator of the Bing Bang Bong 1 Bong 2 method of plate naming, and it is life
come up
changing.
with something better than Bong 2?
It's life changing.
No.
Bong 2. Boom and Boom 2 are reserved for a plate 5 and 6 in those scenarios, and there's only 4 plates. So
Yeah.
Okay.
Also, I think those are the only 2 plates I never got confused. Bong 1 and Bong 2.
it's easy.
It seems like maybe you could have instead of doing Bong 2, you could have gone with Boom.
No. Bong 2. Nope.
It's Bong 2.
Bong
Again, if you have
Bong
a
2.
plate 5 and 6, then you go with Boom 1, Boom 2. But you didn't. It was only 4 plates, so okay. Yeah.
The great thing about the Bong 1, Bong 2 is when Oryx goes that side, you got a double bonger.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Double bong combo.
double bong combo.
Now I'm with
420.
you. You've convinced me.
And then he likes to do the Bing Bang fake out.
The big bang.
The Big Bang.
fake.
Big Bang fake, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really
Double
appreciate it.
bonged up on a Tuesday. Yeah.
What is
the irony?
Big Bang Bong a reference to? Is that from
plates.
Oh, okay.
Raid call outs.
Yeah, the plates, Briar. Come on.
That's what they're called. That's
Yeah.
the name of the plate.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You think quad penis was a reference to something?
No, that was
That was a raid call out.
That's all.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, the irony is, it ended up being less confusing than having the discussion of front versus back again. So here we are using Bing.
I was in
all
a raid.
Conversations come back.
I was in the raid where that conversation was happening, and I was like, if you don't stop it, I'm leaving. Please shut up.
Yeah. How often do you say that during a raid? How often did you say that on Friday?
I had the discussion many times. I had a lot of discussions.
Please shut up.
Oh man. So the raid, Briar, you didn't get to experience the full Oryx, unfortunately. But
no. We stopped after what did we play? 9-10 hours on Friday.
Yeah, it was like 8-9 hours. Like that.
Yeah, we stopped at the War Priest. I had enough. I think the last 2 hours was spent just like watching people like chase their loadout, and I was just like, it's time to go to bed. So, and then you guys finished it Saturday. Did you finish Saturday or Sunday?
I did a raid on Saturday. I think we did it together on Sunday.
And I was unfortunately busy, so I wasn't able to join you guys.
You were kayaking.
But yes, I was. I was with the river folk.
You were on an hourly beer consumption method on the river.
Well, you don't want to get dehydrated.
Of course. It's important, yes.
Yeah. It's about safety first.
Yeah. I think it's amazing seeing the glow up from D1 to D2. I think it's awesome. And just I know that it was a great raid in D1, but I also ran it a crap ton. So I wasn't necessarily like super excited to see King's Fall in D2. I was like, well, I've seen this raid a lot, so I don't know.
Yeah.
And then as soon as we got into it, I was like, wait, this a whole new paint feeling on this. Like,
before we did the world's first stuff, I was watching videos, and obviously like they're all in D1, right, of the mechanics. And I was like, man, the raid is really detailed, but obviously because it's an older game, it's not detail. Like there's a lot of stuff in King's Fall. So then I was like, you know what? I'm kind of excited to see what they do, because Vault of Glass was always kind of not bare, but it didn't have nearly as much stuff going on as King's Fall.
It was black. It was dark in there.
Blue.
It was in a cave.
Yeah.
In a cave. Yeah.
The whole time.
Yes, I was excited. And it did not disappoint. They definitely did a whole new thing all in that raid.
It felt like a real remaster. Right?
Yeah. It did.
Yeah. Which it needed because they'd already re-released this raid, right? In Destiny 1.
Right. I always forget that. Yeah.
So this is kind of third go around.
True. Yeah. Well, okay. So they definitely readjusted the mechanics as well, which I think they did a good job of that.
They did do a good job.
Yeah, because
it was really good.
Yeah, it was an interesting retake on like everything from the totem all the way to Oryx. I really like what they did with adjusting things. Obviously, we don't want to go into... I really
like what they did.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did like a very small change, but it was a change that affected a lot. It affected how you did everything. So, it was good. And then I like the change they did on Oryx, too. They made it a bit faster, less nerve-wracking to go around a whole goddamn circle trying to grab the ball.
Yeah, it was like, is that necessary? Actually, it's more necessary just to be like, you got to go get the thing. So here's the direct way to go get the thing. You know, I like that.
Yeah,
I like it.
There's definitely a theme of gotta go fast, sort of starting to appear in like raids and dungeons. If you look at like Kaido and Duality, there was many times in the dungeon now, like we just like with the second to spare kind of thing, with like passing off buffs or taking buffs, which I'm definitely all for. I think it's really good. Just an observation, like the mechanics are very much about, you don't really wipe that much to enemies, maybe in totems, like you get a little bit of pressure, but resilience is pretty up there and your abilities are pretty strong. Like clearing out enemies is pretty decent. So there's a lot more pressure on the wipe mechanic and having to be coordinated. And you sort of saw that come through in King's Fall as well.
Yeah.
Like the knights in War Priest that you had to get was like, that timing was very tight and you had to get that coordination very good.
Like our most recent raid, which the whole way was us just going, maybe halfway. Okay, go. Oh, it was great.
Yeah. So, I mean, I obviously loved contest mode because you could still, you were running like punchy build with a hunter in contest. and it was completely viable, which is really nice. But we obviously struggled with DPS on War Priest.
DPS on the
ammo and
boss.
DPS. Yeah.
Yeah, across the board, it seemed like the DPS check for War Priest on contest mode was significant. A lot of teams got stuck on there, and we were looking at it as we're gonna have to 4-phase this, and we got lucky one round where we had 3 really good phases, but then the 4th one we only were able to get it down to the last 10%.
Had no ammo.
Yeah, it's just the ammo situation. Like Mylan, you were ammo bitch going around. Like, what's the helmet that makes
Aeons? Yeah,
Aeons. You were making, and even with that, I was still only walking away with half full heavy per round of DPS after the first one. So
yeah,
it was just very difficult to make all that.
It's tough. Like I'm in two minds with this kind of thing. Is like if Bungie wants that to be part of the challenge, then I'm okay to sort of accept that. You know, when you do these contest modes, you're going to need someone switching to Aeons. And it's just like someone having to switch to Div. I'm also concerned now, though, you start getting enough of these like requirements that it reduces the flexibility. So it's like, we need a Warlock, we need a Div, we need an Aeons. You know, like you sort of start stacking up like the requirements just to scrape through. And it reduces the build crafting. But it is really only an issue in contest mode. However, I want to see contest mode all year round. So
yes, oh my goodness,
yeah.
yes, especially with this, because War Priest was such a hard DPS check, but now the contest is not there. The raid's kind of easy. Like we were able to do most of those encounters with like scrammaging around and being like, oh, Jesus, definitely not optimal. So it went from like really hard DPS check to breezy.
Yeah.
And there's nowhere in the middle. So I would really have loved to go back and do contests to, get it done.
Yeah.
Do it.
I feel like this is a popular request, right? It's like we love contest mode. We would like to be able to replay contest mode after the first 24 hours. So I think we've been asking that since it was first released. When was it first released? What was the first raid with contest mode? Was it?
I don't remember. It's like 2 years ago.
Was it just Vogue or was it something else?
No, it was before VOG for sure.
Garden? Did Garden of Salvation have contest?
Garden of Salvation, definitely.
Crown of Sorrows.
Crown. Okay, chat saying Crown of Sorrows, the first one.
Crown.
Like we've been asking for it. I mean, we liked it right away. So why not just give it to us? Like it doesn't. I wonder what the holdup is there. Right?
I'm sure it's something that requires UI and having to support it and put it into the game to make it permanent, so people can flip it on and off. And, who knows what kind of bugs could happen. Clearly, as a community, we do want to be able to flip that on to challenge ourselves because people like to do the challenge and see if they can, like you said, it'd be great to test yourself against the War Priest to see what your DPS is.
As I'm thinking about it, though, that if they do that, then if they don't put rewards in specific to that mode, then, Reddit is going to be like, what is even the point of having this if there's no reward for doing it?
I think this is why they
shit on the other end.
This is why they just need to replace Master with Contest because no one even likes Master. You got champions and it's literally you got to play the game the entire month to get to the power level to do Master, and then we're going to put one of the most despised mechanics into it, which is champions, to completely ruin the experience. So it's like just give Contest, which is hard enough. And you don't have to be at any level, and you can literally just go into it, and everyone can give it a shot. Because I think it is one of those experiences in Destiny where you actually hear the community say, I want to do it for the challenge.
Yeah.
And in the Destiny community, which is very obviously loot-driven, that I'm only doing stuff for the loot, when you get people that actually want to do stuff for the fun and challenge of it, I really feel like you should support that because that gives you longevity. Because I want to go back in with you guys and try to do it again.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I don't even really care about the loot. You're going to need loot in there, but I actually want to train for the next release.
Right.
And to know what builds are viable. Because if what's told me before,
that's a good point.
I'm just going to go in and punch the shit out of everything and with combination blow, I'd be like, that's not going to work contest mode. That you're crazy. And then here we go. I'm just watching Watts run around, go invis the entire time, punching everything with Assassin's Cow. I'm like, that's pretty cool. I didn't think that was going to be viable.
Yeah,
so,
I tuned into your stream. I saw that and I was like, are you actually just punching everything?
Just
and it's working?
Everything.
I was like, the wizard was getting chunked, like just boom, boom, boom. I'm like, what the hell?
Blow is like pretty good.
Yeah, I was surprised.
Not even with Lies handshake on. Combination blow absolutely slaps.
It does.
Surprising.
Yeah, I had to leave early, but like I literally was standing in line at like a place for dinner and checked in on my phone and saw you doing that. I had this like question mark on my face. Someone look at me would be like, "You must have gotten a weird text." But yeah, I agree. And they could easily just say like contest mode is purely for like testing your strength and there's no rewards. Like they could say there's no additional rewards for this. This is purely to challenge yourself if you like. If they want to get around people being like, oh, it's got to be a reward for doing contests. Why even have it in the game or something like that? Yeah. I feel like they can get past that.
But here's the thing. They've already tested it because I think they were shocked when 2/3 of the population did did legendary campaign. They're like, whoa. There was rewards for it, but they put the challenge out there, and I think they were almost surprised with how many people chose to do legendary campaign over normal.
Yeah.
And I feel like contest is in the same bucket as that.
I disagree with you on that. I feel like contest
is harder, but
I feel like it's a couple notches harder than what legendary campaign was, and even people said like if you did legendary campaign with a group versus solo, like it was in times it was harder with a group than it was if you just did it solo on there. So I hear you. Like people do want that challenge, but yeah, I think contest is a few clicks higher than
it is. I think what it is though for me is, and we'll probably come back to this because we've had some Fortnite collabs where we're taking new people into Destiny, and the thing for me to get people hooked because I took my creator through the dungeon. We didn't have to grind to get the level. Right, he literally picked up gear. We went into the dungeon and experienced Destiny at its peak. And he's like, okay, like I get it now. I get what I need to go and do to be able to do this content better. I get like I need to get builds and weapons and this. And I feel like sometimes it just takes way too long for people to get to that experience because of power level and grinding to realize that like this is the carrot is there for me for contest mode. If you take someone into contest mode and be like, okay, like this is how hard it is. Like, look how much you have to be like juicing your build and your weapons. Like that's a carrot for me. Like, okay, now I want to go grind a power level. Like now I actually want a god roll linear because that's what was effing me up on what,
Yeah, man. I was immediately thinking about going into duality and getting that whatever the weapon is called.
I don't know what it was about this one specifically, but I felt the same way. I was like, okay, I want to actually like really maximize the damage that I'm doing here. I think there is something with the legendary campaign contest mode coming into the game comparison in that there wasn't really much reason to do legendary campaign. Like you'd get some light level, but you weren't getting anything crazy by doing it on legendary. I think most of those people probably picked to do it because it was a more engaging experience. And I think with contests, you maybe have that thing where there's people who want to play it just because it's engaging and they want to try out different numbers. And there's people who did it day one like us and we got stuck on War Priest and we're like, I want to go back in and see if I can get through it.
Yeah, we weren't doing it because we're like, we got to get this #1 or get the top 10 or something like that. We were doing it because we wanted to experience what it's like going in there day one with that contest. Yeah. Which is always interesting. It is always interesting to see how difficult and what type of challenges you go up against on there.
Yeah. I think the thing with contest mode and legendary campaign is proof that power level is redundant. Because the thing is, you get these new players, right? You remove the requirement of having to grind for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month to get into the raid. And all of a sudden you have this engagement with your player base that you didn't have before. And it's the same with the legendary campaign. And it's the same with, I think, what would happen with content mode is like getting players into those activities that are typically gate kept because you haven't played enough of the game. And I think it's almost backwards. I think if you chuck them in the deep end, it actually inspires a lot of internal motivation to go and actually do the grinding, right? to then get back into it, rather than forcing them to do an activity first, potentially losing them before they even get to the end game. Like, I
the
think
game is so interesting at low levels, right? When you're running strike playlists over and over again, it's incredibly a boring game, right? It's just it's not. It's fun once you're challenged, once you got to think about your loadout, once you got to think about your build, everything. You know, like that's where the fun begins.
Yeah.
Even back in Destiny 1, like the fun for the veteran players was raiding, the nightfalls, and PvP.
Yeah.
You know, that it's the whole thing of game design where it's like, do you want to give them the key to open the door, or do you want to show them the door and then have them go get the key?
Exactly.
And I think that the whole thing of where you see a door and you're like, oh my God, where's that key? Okay. So it's like I've experienced that content and now I want to go and get the stuff so I can do it better. I can do it faster. I don't have to be carried through it. Like maybe I can get those big damage numbers on that boss.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think I think Destiny would actually shine with that kind of model, and I don't think it's really been there yet. Like I want to see the Dark Souls model where you go in, get absolutely slammed, and it inspires you to go, you know what, I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna kick your ass, and you go off and you go to your strike missions and whatever, get your god rolls, and you come back and you conquer it. Like that's the feeling I get from contest mode, and that's sort of why I want it to be there.
Yeah, for sure.
It's actually exactly what Dark Souls does. That's their whole thing. Is they normally show you a door. They don't give you the key first. They normally like, hey, there's a weird door over there. How do you open that? Gonna go find out.
I had a conversation after the Side Quest podcast with you guys about how burnout I get after leveling up my character, right? Is I have to interact with Destiny in a bunch of ways that I don't like to do. I have to play like game modes and do activities that I don't like. Like I like a lot about Destiny, but there's some stuff that I prefer not to do, but I have to do it. And then I'm burnt out because I have to spend, a week or 2 weeks interacting with Destiny in ways I don't prefer. For like long hours too. It's not a healthy relationship. Like spending that many hours with the game is not healthy. I'd love to fundamentally get rid of light levels altogether.
Fundamentally, in the past, when we were first leveling up, we were unlocking things, and like getting light level gains also was coinciding with things like certain power unlocks, and like in D1, you didn't unlock your second subclass until you hit like a certain point. So there was that like that RPG mechanic right there that you felt like your levels were actually giving you gains beyond just a number. But now it's been boiled down to a number because like you get Arc 3.0 and the majority of it's unlocked. It's not, you're not going through and going on this journey to unlock the power through your power levels.
Lady at the tower.
Yeah, it's just you basically have it unlocked and now you have a number that you have to push up. And I think that's fundamentally why Destiny's power system is broken at this point for people who are like, RPG gamers. Like that number 15 whatever means nothing to what you have access to at this point. It's just a number, and that's why like it's an issue.
So like chat's going, oh, if you do that, if you make it too hard, people just leave. And let me rephrase. I don't want it to be like all or nothing. I think I want the option there. People start off playing Destiny, they go through the normal motions. They should be able to go, you know what? I just want to go have a peek. I just want to go see what that looks like. Step inside and go, okay, now I know what I'm working towards. To like have a goal, to like I'm working, like even just say GMs. You don't even understand how difficult GMs are until you've already invested a month of playing. So, why not go give them the opportunity to actually get and have a look? Yeah, okay, it's actually pretty hard. I'm going to need these kind of tools to do this. Or contest mode in raids pretty hard. I'm going to need this kind of weapons and abilities and loadouts and exotics to get through this. Just having the option to have that carrot there for people who are more challenge based, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, speaking about the Fortnite Destiny collaboration, pretty early on, the two girls that I were with were asking like, what's the hard content? Like, what's the content of like where you're playing it and you consider this to be hard? What is that? I want to see what that is. Like, they were really interested in seeing the difficult stuff.
So you showed them Gambit?
No, no, we didn't go to
Gambit.
Show
them Gambit.
We didn't go to Gambit. I did 3 games of Gambit this week. And I left.
Weird.
But yeah, there's a lot of people out there. No, they wanted to do PvP after that.
Yeah.
So I do want to. Taking people to the dungeon is a very good idea.
I took my guy into the dungeon and he was addicted. He was like, that we got up to ogre. He's like, I'm hooked, and I got him on doing rolls and opening doors. He's like, okay, I get it now.
Nice.
Yeah,
I was like,
good.
And he didn't even have any builds. He was just shooting shit with the pulse rifle. Like nothing. And I was like, actually, he had the what's the Thunderlord? He had Thunderlord. He's like, dude, this thing slaps. I was like, yeah, just hold left click, bro. Like DPS. And I think that's one of the great things about dungeons. And because we didn't have a power level to get in,
you
literally
don't. No,
went into
you can grab the Thunderlord gift thing and just go right in.
Yep. We went into Grasp
so
of Avarice and like absolutely sold the game to him and his audience because you could see it at its pinnacle.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great.
I've got a very funny tweet. Sorry for the self promo, but if you look at the tweet, it's he stepped on a lot of
We'll
traps.
be the judge of that, Mylon.
You know
We'll
what,
see how
Brian?
funny this tweet is.
Go on. I reckon. Give it a quick watch. I
was watching the VOD of Mylan's stream and I saw the chat replay, which is people just saying, this is aggressively Australian.
Oh, that's great.
It was great. It was hilarious.
Before we move off of King's Fall, I kind of wanted to ask the community, either in chat or in YouTube comments or on Twitter, for those of you who this is our first King's Fall experience, I'd love to know what you guys think about this raid, like compared to other Destiny 2 raids, because this is a legacy of Destiny 1. Like, was it cool to finally see it because it was such a kind of like a vaunted raid in Destiny 1, or did it feel old? You know, did it feel like an old raid compared to other Destiny 2 stuff? I'm just curious, like what people who started playing in Destiny 2 felt about, King's Fall.
You know what was an
Seen it for the
interesting
first time.
observation that I saw from players who hadn't played Destiny 1 and have played these Destiny 1 raids? They were saying that the D2 raids seem to have one mechanic that takes you kind of all the way through the raid. But King's Fall, for example, we have that now in the updated King's Fall with the killing the knights and grabbing the thing.
Yeah.
But in original King's Fall, every encounter was like a different mechanic.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In some of them, you had to stand at the back of the room and shoot the guy in the face with a sniper rifle. In other ones, you had to stand at the back of the room and shoot the guy in the face with a sniper rifle. But sometimes
in the stomach.
You had to stand a little bit closer and shoot him in the stomach, like Duffy said.
Mechanics wise, they were different ways to get to the DPS
to get
point.
to DPS phase, yeah.
Golgroth is totally different to War Priest, and Totems is totally different to that, and Oryx is completely different. They were just totally different. But yeah, D2, it's just one thing that kind of carries through all the raids. So I was saying people were like, I understand that because you're like teaching players how to do a thing and then you're adding more stuff and then you're having them use it all at once. But people were saying, you know what, I do actually kind of miss having like different mechanics to learn in different encounters.
It's almost like we're back to the start. It's sort of like when they first started making raids, they didn't have that flow and continuity to the raid. It was just like cool, crazy stuff. And then everyone's got really competent on it, but they've also decided we should like help have that consistency through raids. But now we're so familiar with raids, it almost needs to go back to the chaotic. Like, it's any mechanic. Like, work it out. You step into the puzzle room. There's a puzzle in here. Like, solve it, and away you go.
You can definitely feel the design philosophy in Destiny today than what it was back then. And even narrative wise as well. Like, a lot of I think most of the D1 raids, it was like you stepped in, you hardly got any dialogue. Now I feel like you do get some, you get more like narrative stuff in the raids in general, and it's a bit more connected to what's going on. So that's it. That's fascinating. We should talk about loot though, also real quick, because they brought forward. Did they bring in all the weapons from the raid?
No.
Not all of them.
No, they didn't. Okay, I didn't think so. But there's some good stuff. I think one of the big, or at least a standout for me, I got the hand cannon, Zali's Bane, and I got incandescent on it, and it is awesome.
Was it really? It's good.
Yeah. It's
fast.
fast.
I'm glad to hear that.
It's a 140 and it's fast reload. Or I mean, not fast, but it's not what it was in the past.
That gun was so cool in Destiny 1, but you couldn't use it because of that reload speed.
It was terrible.
Unbelievably bad.
Yeah, you can stack it now. Mine had the reload masterwork, and then you stack it with some perks, and it's great. Plus, it's got the runneth over thing. So if you reload next to people, you get more bullets and all that. Yeah.
Wow, so you got the sniper rifle, right? How is the sniper rifle?
The sniper's great. A lot of people are loving it.
Are they using it in PvP?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's actually got really good
Really?
roles for PvE and PvP. So it's kind of honestly, same with the hand cannon. People are kind of liking it for both.
Good.
Yeah.
And what they did with Touch of Malice is really cool.
Hey, can you explain it? Because I haven't got it yet, and I just see like
Yes.
videos of it, and I don't know what's going on.
So with Touch of Malice, the whole perk, initially it just had that when you get down to the final bullet, it just does damage to you, but does more damage to them.
Yeah.
Now, if you get 10 precision hits, you get something called Charged with Blight. And there's an animation. I know it's pretty great. Charged with Blight is pretty great. There's an animation where the middle of the gun's spinning. When you're charged with Blight, you can hold down reload and you grab it to stop it from spinning, and you shoot a taken captain ball at the enemy.
Wait, like the big?
Yes.
Yeah. Blight.
What?
Yes.
Yeah.
How cool
Oh
is that?
god damn
And
it.
not only
we gotta
that-
raid.
I want it. I want it, man.
It's really good. I want to do 6-man Touch of Malice.
Do you need kills or precision? What is it?
Precision
What
hits.
charges?
Precision hits.
How much in PvP will it proc? How many PvP?
You just have to
hits?
get 10 precision hits.
10 headshots.
Yeah. 10 precision hits.
Okay, well
So
that's
if
never
you
happened for me.
so
Okay,
turn
copy
on
that.
your cheat aim trainer.
It's not
and
happening
then
for me anymore, Milo. Let me tell you.
Good. You suffer from your success.
But there's another part of the gun. It's really cool.
Is there another one?
So when you shoot the blight at an enemy, they will now take increased damage from all weapons of sorrow. So Thorn.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
It doesn't count
nice.
with a horde. It's like Thorn and Osteostriga, and then of course Malfeasance. So it's made for DPS. So like imagine all of us with Touch of Malice shooting our blights at the boss at different times and crazy.
I like it. I want it.
Yeah.
I shall raid again.
Yes. The raid's also just really fun and really fast. We got a time trial. We did a time trial.
Yeah, what was
Obviously
that
not
for?
You
we did it fast, Milo. When you remembered how to raid.
What time did we do it?
I
Yeah,
don't
what time
know.
did we do it?
I don't know.
Okay.
Maybe that's why you forgot how to raid.
This is the raid before I jumped in.
Yeah.
You did time trial?
Before Mylan forgot.
What happened, Mylan?
Okay, well, like I said,
I have to tell the story about War Priest.
Okay.
I have to tell the story about what happened at War Priest. So me and Mylan are on night duty, right? So you have to kill the knight to grab the thing to take the buff from the person who's holding it, or they die, right?
Right.
So I'm like counting down. I'm like 5, 4. I'm like, where's Mylan at? What's he doing? I'm like 3. I turn around. Mylan is like slow walking up the stairs to go to the knight to kill him to get the
Yeah,
buff.
not even running.
And I'm like, I'm dead. This man is not jumping.
I was on my warlock. I was not slow walking. I was on 10 mobility. I was my max speed.
You were safe walking?
Oh mate, the warlock floof to get up onto that platform is not my strong suit. I'll tell you that.
That's too bad.
Yeah, that's why he was like, yeah, I thought the stairs might be faster because
the stairs.
Because I can't jump. Yeah, so rather than like jumping up to that platform because I kept missing it, I ran up those like back stairs and like floof across. Yeah, it turns out that's pretty slow too.
That was amazing. That whole raid was really funny. I don't know what was going on, but it made me laugh.
Oh man, your dad joke callouts, the saran wrap one absolutely slayed me. Like just demolished. I had to tell that one to some people afterwards. I was like, you won't believe this.
That was a good one.
Yeah.
I did forget, Krauser reminded me that if you have necrotics on, the warlock arms, when you shoot the blight, it will ignite on contact with poison. So it has an interaction with the necrotic warlock grips.
Ooh, that's
cool.
nice.
Yeah. Pretty cool.
Damn, I really need that touch of malice.
They really knocked it out of the park with the update.
That's such a good update to that gun, because I was like, oh, touch of malice is so situational, and like I don't know if it's really gonna have that feel of what it was in D1. And then
that's nice.
That blight update, I'm like, well, they gone and done it.
Yep. It's really
they
good.
did a good job. Oh man.
Oh, before we move on to like other stuff, I forgot to mention that Guardians, it's September 1st.
Yes, it
That's
is.
right. Only 2 months until the season premiere of, goddamn, what's the name of that show? The one where they
Oak Island.
Oak Island. Thank you.
Briar's Oak Island obsession.
November 1st.
Oh God, yeah.
Here we
Also,
go.
oh my God. Also, Touch of Malice. It heals you every third kill.
Oh,
That's also a thing.
that seems good.
Yeah, they added so many things.
They never did that before, right? Yeah, that's new. That's fresh. Fresh Malice.
Yes. Fresh September. It's September. And September is Childhood Cancer Awareness Month. And there was a post that was on Destiny Fashion and got kind of shown to it made its way around the internet. And this was a post by someone who was saying that they lost their oldest to an aggressive pediatric cancer, which is awful. And they said that the September before losing her was the first time I started asking those of you who would to go gold for the month of September because it's Childhood Cancer Awareness Month. So everyone is changing their armor to be full on gold for the month of September to show solidarity for Childhood Cancer Awareness Month.
Let's do it.
Yeah, so it kind of popped off, and you had Destiny Item Manager and Dylan and everything. All those people were posting like shaders that you can use that will make you gold. So if you don't know what's going to make you gold, you can go check them.
Nice.
But yeah, I'm gold. I'm wearing Callus's shadow.
Oh, I got Callus's treasured on.
Yeah, that's very gold.
They're very
like
gold.
A deep gold.
I gotta set up my gold loadout.
Yeah.
So good luck sorting through your shaders, by the way, everyone. I went through them name by name. Find one.
It's really nice. I saw a couple people in Crucible in like the little intro screen wearing gold, and I was like, oh man, that's great. To give you guys the shaders that Dylan put out: Testudo, Dawning Welcome, Iron Gold, Golden Empire, Gold Leaf, Verdant Crown, Callus's Shadow, Midnight Talons, Golden Trace, Callus's Treasured is the list that he put out. I'll put it in chat. There you go.
Gold September.
Yes, do it.
So that's King's Fall. King's Fall's good. I like it.
That's
Looking forward to run more. Good job, Bungie. Enjoyed it.
Very good job. It was very fun.
Yep.
I want to keep running it. It's good.
Same.
Oh, we didn't mention World's First.
Yes.
3 times champion.
Three-time champs.
3-time back-to-back.
That's unreal to me. 3 times.
Yeah. Is it
That's
back-to-back?
unreal.
Back-to-back.
Yeah.
Back-to-back.
That's amazing commitment.
Back-to-back.
That is so difficult in today's like environment of Destiny. There's millions of players in Destiny, so there's a lot of people that want that title.
Do you remember when us humble streamers who just played the game more than anyone else had a chance?
Yeah.
Oh, not just
before these Zoomers came along with their skills.
Yeah, we used to just get the boys together and we're like, let's go run the raid. We'll clear it day 1 easy. We'll take longer than everyone else, but we'll get it done. Not anymore.
Not anymore.
I mean, I think the original King's Fall, weren't we in the top 100?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
And like we had to leave the raid because we couldn't do DPS and get second characters in the hopes that we would get better drops to level up our characters, like our light levels.
Amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty rough.
And we're in the top 100.
Times
Destiny's
changed.
come a long way.
Yeah,
when it comes to raid racing.
Yeah.
Destiny has come a long way. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So GG's. What else?
Next.
Yeah, we got story stuff. We got controversy stuff. We got
What's this controversy you talking about?
For the raid or something else?
I don't know.
No.
You guys.
I haven't heard the one for the raid. What's going on with the raid? What's the controversy?
In the Oryx room, what is the front and what is the back?
Oh, that's no. We don't
This is just chat bleach. It's just chat bleach. That's what that is.
Chat bleach. You're right. Yeah. It's true. Yeah, chat bleach. You're not wrong. Never mind. Moving on to the more important.
Is a hot dog a sandwich? See, that's chat bleach.
Is a burrito a shawarma?
Listen, Bungie already did, or Destiny the game already did a tweet about it with a poll, and you are outnumbered. If you say it's the back, you're just statistically incorrect.
Yeah, you're statistically.
If what's the back?
Oryx is the front.
Oryx is the back.
Oryx is the front.
No, Oryx is the back, dummy.
No.
Look,
70%.
you walk into the front of a church, not the back of a church.
No.
The altar is at the back of the church.
Front is relative. You can still walk into the front of the church and then look to.
Please help.
You don't say everybody pay attention to the back now when someone gives a sermon, or it's not the back of the room.
Pay attention to the altar, which is located at the back of the church. Dummy.
You know what I'll say? Just use the Bing Bang Bong Bong 2. Then you're good to go. Just introduce to your raid group as soon as they start saying, "Oh, what's front and the back? What's R1? What's L2? What's R5?"
Bang Bang Bong.
Just say Bing Bang Bong 1 Bong 2.
Bong 2. Yeah. Easy
peasy. Jesus Christ.
Okay, that we solved that. All right, next.
Yep. Yeah. Was there anything else? I wasn't sure. I thought there was something else going on. We didn't.
I feel like a lot of things have happened.
I don't know. Something you mentioned something.
Skill-based matchmaking.
Oh right, SBMM.
Oh yeah.
What's the skinny?
What's up with it?
Well, so today I was like, I'm gonna play some solo. See what it's like in my, skill bracket, see what's up, get some stats and data for the podcast. First game I load into, I'm against Benny Schmurda. I'm like, okay, that's cool. Very nice.
Pretty skilled.
We had a bunch of people leave a game. Guess who joined me? Frostbolt. So skill-based matchmaking.
Give him a couple tips, Watts. Show him what's up. What's up?
Well, listen.
Here's how to hunter.
Frostbolt got put in like the worst game ever and was not there for very long, which I totally get. Jesus Christ.
Oh, so you're calling him out for quitting? Nice. I like it.
No, he should quit.
Bold move.
He should.
Oh, is that bad, huh?
Yeah. So one, it's not loose skill-based matchmaking at all. It's like very, very not loose skill-based matchmaking. It's very tight skill-based matchmaking. It's a tight butt after the gym on leg day skill-based matchmaking.
Damn, that's tight.
Yeah, it's tight. It's a tight
butt. There's a toiga.
So there's that. But the biggest problem is that lobbies just are not really backfilling very quickly. So here's an example of a game that happened multiple times today. Someone leaves because they probably don't want to play, I don't know, Disjunction for the 18th time in a day. Just
correct.
Thought. Because if you don't know what's going on, Vostok, Disjunction, Eternity, like all those maps that returned that are these massive maps are weighted a lot heavier than other maps. So, you load in, you're like, I don't want to play Disjunction again. I'm leaving. So they leave. It's going to take, at the shortest amount of time, 2 minutes to replace that person. The longest that I've seen, who knows, the match has ended before I even ever found out. I think I timed it at like 5 minutes. So people leave. They're like, oh, it's a 5v6. I just realized, man, it's been a 5v6 for like 3 minutes. So they also leave because they're like, you're playing a game that is closer skill-based matchmaking. So it's harder to keep that game going because you're playing against people of similar skill level. But now you're a 5v6. So they're like, I'm just going to leave. And it takes so long to replace people back into the game that the match quality is just awful. It's so bad. Basically, if someone leaves, you will be lucky to get someone back. You'll be
funny
very
how
lucky.
Different our my experience has been just so the complete opposite as someone who never plays Cruci. Like I didn't realize SBMM was on, and I went in and I just started fragging. Like I went from being always on the bottom of the board to like on the top. I was like, yo, Cruci's good now. Let's go. Like this is fun.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, oh, they must have switched the SBMM on.
Fortunately, your fellow countrymen, Mylan, who are on the upper levels of skill-based matchmaking, I don't think they can play anymore. They're only playing people in like China or Japan. The connection is terrible. They play against the same 2 people.
That happens to me anyway because I played off peak. Like I played during the middle of the day, Australia time, when most people aren't being degenerates playing video games. So my matchmaking has always been garbage as it is. And it is even like all the problems you're saying is even worse for other regions that have lower populations. And if you then on top of that play off peak, you will be matching the same people 100% of the time. Right. Like I get that in trials. If I play trials off peak, I literally match the same people. If I play it like on a Monday morning or a Tuesday morning, because it's still running then for Aussies, it is the same people each game.
Yeah.
Honestly, that happens to me. I'm in America on the East Coast, and that happens to me. So I'll see the same people over and over again.
Okay.
In regards to the actual like skill-based matchmaking, it being super tight, sweaty, all that stuff. I'll be honest, and this is a very me problem for why I play Destiny and how I play Destiny. And it's how I've played every game. It was the same in Call of Duty. I like playing pub matches with either, 12v12 or 6v6 or whatever. And I like using weird loadouts, weird guns, seasonal guns, the new exotic that just came out, Touch of Malice, like making funny builds and seeing what I can get to happen, running Ruinous Effigy and kind of dunk balls on people, right? That's what I like about Destiny. That's why I play Destiny. I do not play Destiny for any other reason. I can't do that anymore. So I'm not trying to be dramatic, and I'll preface this by saying that I don't want people to have a bad time in Crucible. I think it's great that more people, and we'll go over the TWAB that goes over this. I think it's great that more people are having more fun. I think there's probably a better solution they can come up with, like maybe more people meeting halfway rather than meeting on the other way. But not to be dramatic, I don't know if I will be playing Destiny Crucible very much.
Got a solution for you.
Playlist.
Got a solution.
Apex.
Your mom plays on your account for 2 weeks.
Accounts like every month?
For 2 weeks. She plays on your account for 2 weeks, tanks your stats, and then you jump on and play with completely off meta weapons exclusively.
I mean,
to be honest, sandbag.
I can group with people who are lower KD, and the lobbies they feel more normal. I'm not like super slaying. Like I'm not playing against absolute potatoes, playing against like just middle of the pack people, So I can do that. It's just I gotta say I've lost a couple of PvP games that I've played that I've absolutely loved, and I had to stop playing them because they were not fun anymore. And just the way that I like to interact with this game, where I spend 95% of my time in PvP, I do not interact with the other part of the game that much. I just can't really do it.
Yeah, I feel you on that.
Do you think it's more of an, like, obviously there's an issue right now with, well, for the upper end, there's an issue with matching. But don't you think it's more to do with the game mode? Because you don't really expect to do quick play and have that level of competitiveness.
Right. Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So because if there was somewhere else where you could go, where you could relax, and then when you wanted to get competitive and versus Frostbolt, you could go into that mode. Right. I think like that's the issue is like there's no real identity with the playlists or reasons to go into them. You should be able to go in a quick play and have a good time and earn whatever rewards in there. And then when you want to get sweaty, you should go into your competitive sweat modes that is matching you on the right level.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I agree. I agree with you. And I think that ultimately is the solution that needs to be in place. The fundamental problem, though, is Destiny is a 7-year game now. Is it 7 years? Like there is a lot of precedent that has been established with what the Crucible is and what people do to go into control and play the game and all that. And you really have to unravel like the culture that's been built around the Crucible to establish this new thing of like, hey, this is for fun, this is for the sweats or something, like this is the messaging that is behind it. And Bungie has dropped the ball big time on that. Like I really think they're the ones that have basically ignored the Crucible for what was it, like 2 years? It went by without a single map. It is atrophied. And instead of the population like bottoming out, the population has just gotten more acidic and nasty at each other because of the lack of like, hey kids, what you doing? Hey, don't do that. We need to establish some rules here. And like none of that. Bungie was like,
the river is dried up. And
it's straight up Mad Max. Yeah, exactly. It's all dried up and like. Fixing that when the culture has been established in the game is a task.
It's hard, yeah. I mean, here's something, right? So D2's been out longer now than D1. D1 had 10 more maps than D2.
Wow.
That's like quite a substantial hefty amount of maps.
And a lot of the D2 maps are D1 maps.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So, and I know they have to like make them from the ground up,
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it has been lacking. And to Mylan's point, it's exactly that. You want to be able to control the type of experience you want, right? Like if I play any other PvP game, I'm like, okay, I'm going into ranked. I'm gonna bring my best stuff. This is who I'm best at. This is what I'm best with. I'm gonna use the best stuff. I'm gonna sweat to try and get my rank up. But when I go play pubs, I'm like, oh, I'll try out, if I'm playing Apex, I'll try this new character. Oh, I haven't used this gun before. I'll try this new gun. I'll try, you have different variations of experiences.
Chatting, right? You're just chatting with your teammates and like hanging out. Not like comms.
I was playing because everyone that I play with or against is in my chat now. I'm giving them call outs like, good job, let's go. We're on the point. He's one shot. Go. We're giving call outs in chat because we're all in comms now. We're all in comms and quick play.
Quick play comms. Trying to flex. Yeah, that's rough. What you're experiencing, Watts, is what I experienced. I think like maybe a year and a half, 2 years ago. When suddenly I was like, I just don't enjoy the Crucible anymore. Like it was something that clicked or switched over, and it sucked because I enjoyed just hanging out in Control or whatever in quick play and just playing games, and that switched over for me a couple years ago. And like I'm sensing that same feeling from you of how like, like did your thing disappear now? That you like to, the management changed your favorite bar and now you hate going there,
Yeah, it's man, it's like I absolutely, like I will say again, I think it's great that there are players who did not enjoy Crucible who now hop into Crucible and are having an absolute blast. And I totally can sympathize with them being like, oh, now all the sweaty players aren't having fun and they want to take away the fun that I'm having. Totally understand it. But I do also see where the players who pretty much exclusively play PvP are coming from, where they're like, well, you basically just took away like the whole portion of the game that I just can only play for a little bit now because it's so exhausting. So it's you're never going to be able to please absolutely everyone 100%. I've always been a supporter of outlier protection, like the bottom half of the skill-based matchmaking ladder shouldn't go against the top. Like there needs to be something there that filters people. But I don't think, especially in a peer-to-peer matchmaking game, that there should be strict skill-based matchmaking.
Yeah, I mean, I stopped tooting that horn because everybody got sick of me talking about like latency and connections and all that stuff. And I was like, all right, I'm just going to shut up about it because it's clearly not going to change in Destiny. But that does seem like one of the main issues still is that fundamentally it's still peer-to-peer with some hive magic of server technology going on to hide IP addresses and all that stuff. So, yeah. I don't know. It's a tough one. I haven't jumped into the Crucible much. Like I played Mayhem a little bit and was sick of Mayhem after a couple games. So maybe I need to jump into Control and see how I feel about it to give a different perspective also. But
yeah, go check it out. And I see that PTD in chat said, why are you exclusively playing PvP in a predominantly PvE game? Because Destiny has everything in it. There are people who only level up to raid or only level up to go do GMs and they just spam GMs like all the time. That's it. There are people in this game that do not do everything. Like there's actually a substantial amount of PvP in the game. You have comp, you have control, you have like all of those games, Rumble, you got all that stuff. And then you have trials. There's a good amount of PvP in the game. And Destiny gunplay feels so good that a lot of people, if they've been Destiny PvP players, they don't want to play other stuff for the PvP because Destiny feels so good. So I think that's really disingenuous.
I don't know. That's a dumb comment. I'm sorry. And that is a Hobbit gang. You're gonna get a beating when we get back in my stream because that is a stupid like PvP. It's get my belt off.
PvP is what attracted me to Destiny in the first place, right? It was like
the
initial attraction was, oh my god, I get to play like a Halo style PvP, but I have like access to like I don't know 1 million weapons. Like I had no idea how many weapons there were. It was so attractive. Like the options are plentiful. And there was a time in Destiny 1's lifespan where we were like, could this be a competitive game? Like, could we be seeing like an esport made out of this? And like, obviously, that is not even a dream anymore. I mean, they have the PvP is just atrophied on the vine of Destiny.
Well,
and
yeah, I mean,
to the benefit of other things in Destiny, people do believe this is a PvE game now, but it wasn't like that before. It felt like it was 50-50, you know?
You're only getting this impression that it's a PvE game now because we're getting rotations of raids and dungeons every season.
Yeah.
But what kept people in Destiny during the dry spells was that it's PvP. A bloody good shooter and it was fun to go into PvP. Yeah. And that's why you spend your time in there. It is relatively fresh content to do like in my mind, versing other players is usually a fresh experience compared to being a loot goblin going into a lost sector for the millionth time to get whatever god roll you chase. Actually versing players typically is what keeps a game alive. Like that's
the part of Destiny that drives me crazy.
Longevity.
I cannot stand it long term. I cannot stand running the strike playlist over and over again. I cannot stand playing the Gambit playlist. I cannot stand like those just repetitive PvE playlist like kind of activities. What I've always enjoyed was like I do all the PvE stuff at the beginning of the season, and then I play PvP until the next season, and that's always been fun.
I mean, what about like the alpha
Destiny
and the beta?
2 though, the PvP doesn't keep you around because they have like how often are you gonna play the same map for several years?
Yeah. Like that's where it is.
You need to freshen it up.
It needs content in PvP.
A
lot of us came to Destiny and the alpha and the alpha and beta, and it was literally just PvP. They let you on the moon for like an hour.
Yeah.
That one time. But like the way that they were selling this game and showing people Destiny for the first time was PvP.
Yeah. For sure.
And the thing it is true. It is really actually a unique PvP game that has elements of an MMO. I don't think there's any other game that you can have elements of an MMO to go out and get loot and then use it in a first-person shooter, and to have so many different options in your build and weapons that you use. There's nothing else that even comes close to it.
Yeah, I agree.
That experience. Whether you like it or not, there's nothing that comes close to going out and getting loot in the world and then bringing it into a first-person shooter in a PvP environment.
Yeah, and having everything
how
work.
is this going to do in PvP? How fast is it going to kill other Guardians?
Right.
That was one of the main attractions to me. Having come from the COD world, like I mained COD for several years before I played Destiny. And I didn't even care about Destiny until I saw that there was PvP, until that beta came and I started playing. What's the name of that map on the moon that we're...
First Light?
First Light?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm the opposite. I came from Borderlands and I was a loot goblin. Like Mylan talking about I was a goblin guy. I was killing the same boss over and over. Give me that drop, like I was all about that. But I do think Destiny is in its best spot when PvP is still healthy and PvE is healthy. Yeah. It's like Bungie said, well, what if there was no dry spells? Or what if there's no dry seasons? Like that's basically their answer to the PvP problem is let's just make sure there's tons of PvE to keep going. I think it really does need some sort of solution in there, and I don't think it needs to be incredibly complex. But like I said, there is this precedent that's been set, and they have to start layering down the bricks to change that precedent, so people treat the game's PvP different. Like it needs. It really it feels like it needs that team again that can actually dedicate its time to just the PvP side, like the investment side. Like we don't need just drops at the end of the match. You need some sort of ladder or like a battle pass that's just for playing the Crucible that keeps you interested in just like playing this mode and that mode and a little bit of like they're starting to do fresh ups of like different. They just introduced Rift back in, but like man, years have gone by for them to finally introduce a reshaped Rift, so.
Yeah, it's we do have they are doing a comp rework in season 19.
Yeah.
So we'll see what that is because it's the other thing of like if I'm sweating my ass off, I don't mind doing that. If I can see a number go up or I can work towards a certain rank where I can get like a cosmetic or something at the end of that, like I'm happy to do that and I will buy into that experience. Like most of the time when I'm playing games against other people, I would usually just play the ranked version because you're always working towards something. So and that's great. But you don't. Honestly, there's not really much reason to play PvP except you enjoying it. So if you make
Trials,
it not
Trials
fun
has
for the
loot.
people who play PvP, I don't know. They're not gonna go play strikes and stuff, right? Because they never did before.
Yeah.
They only played PvP. So.
The only reason they would play strikes is to get a weapon that was good in PvP. They heard about.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah,
and that's the loop that Bungie really wants in their game, right? They've always wanted that loop. They want you to go and chase this really cool gun in PvE and then take it into PvP and see how it does. That's what they want. So it's a pretty integral part.
That's what they used to want. I don't know if that's what they want anymore.
I think they said somewhat recently that that's what they always want to keep that.
One thing we didn't touch on is in the TWAB. There's a TWAB, and it has info about the SPMM. Apparently, SPMM wasn't even turned on, or it was by accident. Everyone was matching everyone via default settings until 7 p.m. Pacific time on Tuesday of when it went live. So if you did play Tuesday during the day, there was no SPMM. It was just
there was no
lawlessness.
there was no M. There was just. So they said in the TWAB that there was nothing. They were not looking at connection. They were not looking at which platform you played on, your skill. They looked at nothing. It's like they explained it in the TWAB saying that, there's a fail safe of where you'll always be able to match people. If everything fails, it will match you with something. But that's not what they want. So it wasn't just, cross-platform getting together. It was like bad connections, right? Because it was just picking whoever. So,
Just imagine like Zer's in the server. Oh shit! He's just like plugging, plugging cords in the
1940s operator.
Stadia's playing against PS4.
There's an alarm flashing in the background, like alert, fail safe. He's like, shit.
Yes, we did get skill-based matchmaking info, which I really appreciate, because obviously a lot of people are talking about it. There's a lot of like, I don't know, what do you guys want? Do you guys want this? Is this good? How are you feeling? What's going on? What's happening? So I was very glad that we got some information.
Yeah.
Some stuff.
I gotta say though,
yes.
Before we start with what the information that they gave us was, they talk a lot about numbers, but they don't mention anywhere that this was a free weekend for Destiny. So there's probably a pretty big influx of players.
That's a good
who are playing for free. So they talk a lot about, well, there's an increase in players in the Crucible. But
and
also
they just
the game
spent
released
a ton
on
of money doing
Epic.
crossovers with Epic and Fortnite players. So
and it was a free weekend. And you've been advertising the shit out of it all week. So
them optics.
Was it a success for the Crucible team, or was it success for the marketing team?
Crucible is always free, but there was a big marketing thing of getting, more people into Destiny because of the Epic, it being
Epic's
on the
huge,
Epic Game
right?
Store. All of the collabors, they didn't just collaborate.
Expansions are free too.
Yeah, everything was free.
So, and the Fall Guys and Fortnite cross promo.
Yeah, there were a lot of players who were exposed to Destiny for the first time in a long time, or the first time ever with this season than any other season because of all the collabs. And they pushed it hard. They were collabing with YouTubers, streamers, like everybody. So there's a lot of audiences that did see that. So it's a good point.
The Sony bucks were flowing.
Also, so I do love getting these stats. I would, because they've said they're tweaking the skill-based matchmaking. They're tweaking it all the time. So I would actually love to have some breakdown like this of how many people are playing, who's sticking around, who didn't normally play Crucible, how many more people are now like incorporating Crucible into their time more. I would like to see that every week for a little bit, if possible. That would be really nice. Because again, I would say I'm fine with having a less good experience that I maybe play a lot less if there's a ton of other people who are having a lot of fun and playing a lot more Crucible.
Honestly, to me, it sounds like they need to loosen it up for the top end, but it's working pretty well for the lower end. So
for the lower, I think they're also struggling in terms
the
of
extremes
like their
are
matchmaking. Oh Lord, bad down there. Yeah, we can get into some stats. So, let's take a look here. Stats from week 1. So this is as of 7 p.m. on Tuesday, not before then, because that was no man's land. So, the population. In the first week of Season of Plunder, 140,000 more hours of Control had been played in the first week than in the first week of Season of the Haunted. And we had around an 11% increase in total number of players playing Control. 11% more playing Control. Okay. Matchmaking times. Overall, our average matchmaking times went up by an average of 5 to 10 seconds. That's a good indication that the matching is generally working, but it isn't showing our worst cases. The lower population segments, extreme low and extreme high skill. For the highest skill band, which is less than 0.1% of the population, matchmaking times average around 90 seconds during high population times and just over 200 seconds at low population times.
So with a population at a high, we have increased matchmaking times.
Correct.
And I would say possibly inflated population because of the free week and the increased population. What happens to these matchmaking times when the population goes back to normal levels or mid-season or late season levels?
Yeah. Go up again. Hurting.
Yeah. Well, for the lowest skill band, matchmaking times were 120 seconds at best and 240 seconds at worst.
4 minutes? Is that what that is?
That's quite a wait, man.
Yeah, 4 minutes for a match.
I don't know. I feel like if me as a player coming into Destiny and I'm trying to go into Crucible for the first time and I'm waiting like 4 minutes to get into a match, I might just go, nah, this is silly.
Yeah. And I mean, is that what's happening?
100%.
Do you think that's what's happening? Is like new people coming into the game, they get put into that bracket right away? Or are they getting put mid to test their skill?
I don't know. I don't know. I wish they would show us. I wish they would tell us more about this kind of stuff.
Risky to do, right? Because then you risk people exploiting it.
True.
Well, all you have to do is play with your friends who have a lesser KD than you, or go on LFG and say, hey, I'm looking for a 1.0, and join them, and then boom, there you go. Easy.
Looking for 1.0s?
Ideally a 0.5, please.
Is that why I'm getting so many DMs lately?
Oh man.
Oh man. So those are long. That's a long time. If you're on the lowest skill band, you are 40 seconds slower than the high skill band.
I mean, a 4-minute
player population.
A 4-minute matchmaking time would definitely cull the herd, to put it lightly.
It would.
It's a snowballing effect, right? Too. Because then people leave, and then the population lowers, and then it's like,
you
know what? It seems like a population issue rather than a matchmaking issue.
Yeah. Yeah. There's not a lot.
How you get population up? You put content in the game.
A reason to play Crucible, you could say. Yeah.
Yeah, correct.
Although probably one of the best shaders this season is in Crucible, so looks like
no one cares about shaders. Come on now.
Looks like Blood Splash. Everyone does except you, Mylon.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm with Mylon on this one.
But part of the issue.
Why you don't play the game?
Talking about, I play a ton.
Part of the issue is that, like, you go into the Crucible tab and all you see is like you see a pinnacle and that's it. You don't get a list of like Shax's goods for hitting whatever rank, right?
Yeah, it's at its vendor.
Yeah, which is so counterintuitive for people who are actually
like when you're like matching and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, if you want to like keep track of progress and grind like a battle pass type of thing.
True. Yeah. Actually, I was playing Gambit and I was like, how close am I to the shader? Because I'm gonna keep playing if I'm close to the shader. If not, I can hop out. But I don't know. So I can't check it.
You got to run over to the rat.
Got to go run over. It's a long way.
Rat.
Hit up the rat in his bunk. His basement dwellings. Yeah.
Okay. So moving on. So they said here, just looking at matchmaking times, the current settings look like they are getting us where we want to be.
Interesting.
However, we are cautious about making too many assumptions right now. We have plenty of anecdotal evidence of bad connections in those high skill games, and week 1 is one of the highest population moments of the season. I'm not gonna lie, some of the things in here concern me a little bit.
A little?
Like, this is pretty good. 4 minutes, that's pretty good.
Well, they're talking about the
4
extremes.
minutes during a high population when we have a free weekend going on and we got Fortnite players coming in to check out Destiny.
They've definitely said in the past that 4 minutes.
This is ridiculous.
I think they
have. They said 2 minutes was too long.
I think 2 minutes was like at the up end of what they wanted people waiting for.
That's why I'm confused.
Well, okay.
I think they're talking about the
extremes, right?
Yeah, they're not talking about the extremes is looking good. They're just talking about like most people are having okay match times.
Well,
yeah, the middle population generally is in a good spot, is what they're trying to say. But it sounds like they've made these changes, and it's like, oh yeah, business as usual. We're good.
This is the thing. It probably is also confusing with that because they don't actually tell us the average matchmaking time for the people who are in that population. They only tell you the matchmaking time for the lowest and the highest skill. They just say that the matchmaking times went up on average of 5 or 10 seconds. So what does that mean? 5 to 10 seconds on top of what?
Yeah.
No idea.
Give us a mean. Give us a median.
Yeah, give me. Now this one, you guys might have to tell me what this means. I should have asked chat to tell me what this means. You know what, chat? You can tell me what this means. But this is skill differences because I understood most of it. Then I got and I was like, I'm not totally sure I know what you're saying. So, okay. The skill differences we see in control matches are pretty stark. Without skill-based matchmaking, only 10% of matches had 600 or less skill difference between the highest and lowest players. With skill-based matchmaking on, we see that 80% of games have that separation or less.
They were trying to even out the fight with it. So before only 10% had a 600 delta, essentially, right? Between the numbers. And now 80% of the matches are that or less. So SBMM is doing what it's intended to do.
This sounds like there's more matches with higher skill differences.
No, they said 600 or less.
Read that.
That's how I read it too, honestly, because the numbers just look like they get bigger.
No, they said 600 or less was 10% of the matches.
Here, Sparty put it in terms I can understand. Before SBMM, 80% of matches were players that were very good against very bad.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
Oh, do you know what gets me? The 600, because 600 sounds like a big number to me, but that must be a small number.
Right. It's because they said it's like 1 to 5,000 or something like that, and they're trying to get like within 600.
It's
like
out of 5,000.
Yeah, it could be like something like that. So you're within that number, and they want to get you within the 600 mark of everybody on the total 12 people that are playing.
This is why I actually really wish in here they said that we use a skill, meter, whatever, between this number and this number. Because then when I look at 600, I could be like, okay, 600 difference is actually like not loose skill-based matchmaking.
These numbers don't mean a whole lot to me. I've read it now like 4 times. I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
But this is not actually where I got mega confused. This is not where I got mega confused. I got confused.
Yeah, but the last 3 paragraphs say they're working too, and I completely disagree with them, and I understand the numbers. So I'm just going to assume I don't agree with this one.
Here we go. Here's the next part. Okay, get your converting hats on or whatever. For 90% of games without skill-based matchmaking, the average skill of all players within a game was between 300 and minus 100. Okay.
So it's a 400 gap.
Without. For 90% of games.
Yeah.
Now we
see the 400's small, so that means everyone's pretty close together.
A 400 gap, right?
Yes.
400.
Means everyone's, and it's not skill-based.
Without.
Yeah, without SBMM, it was a tighter skill gap.
Yeah, okay.
That's continue reading.
Okay.
Now we see a significant number of games with a high average of 600 skill and regularly as low as minus 500.
So with a few games.
With a few games each day going as low as minus 900 average.
No, please read it again with the exclamation mark.
Exclamation mark. I think they're happy about it.
With a few games each game goes like 900 average.
That is definitely
without skill-based
confusing.
matchmaking. We had a 400 gap, and now we've got an 1100 gap, and sometimes a 900 gap.
Maybe it's negative 900, but sometimes
Okay,
positive 600.
Listen, I'm looking at Sparty. He's the only one here who knows what's going on. I think they said 600 skill difference meant the lowest skill player had no chance against the higher. And then he says that means there were some games where everyone was really bad.
Yeah,
so they're saying that there were some games where minus 900 dude over here, they were all in there. Look at them guys running around having fun.
But they're making it sound like this was a success and that the SPMN was working when clearly those numbers are not. So that's
it's very confusing because to me, when I read this, it's like, oh, well, the gaps are now bigger.
Yeah, that's what it sounds
bigger
like.
Gaps.
Bigger skill gap. so now when I die,
we're winners all around.
Skill gap,
we got bigger
gap,
skill gaps with longer wait times. It's amazing.
Welcome to the Crucible, Guardian.
Yeah, very, very confusing.
Now everyone's just gonna spam negative 900 in my chat. that's a skill gap.
Oh man, yeah,
so
that could have been worded better.
The translation of this, which I don't really get, is they're saying that bad players get to match with bad players more.
Okay.
Apparently,
that's what skill-based matchmaking should do.
I didn't read that from that.
That's not what that says, but whatever.
It's the ad. So those numbers aren't a gap. It's the average skill of gamers in a match.
But you see, that just doesn't make sense, though.
Yes. Okay. The high average of 600 and regulars.
But what doesn't make sense though is negative 900. So the average skill is negative 900. Like
yes.
So they were saying that those people weren't ever in the Crucible. Is that what they're saying?
Yeah.
So
and also, they never established like if you're gonna go negative 2000 and positive 2000, they never established that in this article. That's why it's confusing. Like, what are the limits?
It is confusing when you don't give us a scale. To tell us numbers on a scale that we don't know the scale of is a little confusing.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, so they're saying that the average, so for 90% of games without skill-based matchmaking, the average skill of all players within a game was between 300 and minus 100. Very tight. So like, without skill-based matchmaking, players who enjoy Crucible were actually somewhat evenly matched playing Crucible. Interesting. Okay. That's how I'm taking it. Don't call me wrong. I'm correct. And then now we see a significant number of games with a high average of 600 skill and regularly as low as minus 500.
They're just saying all the
so that's
skills.
The average. That's not
all the high.
Okay, that's
not
the
high average.
Range.
So like all the high level 600 players are all together, and all the negative Nancy's like me, negative 900s are all sitting in the same lobby.
So this is comparing apples to oranges. Without skill-based matching, here's the range of skills that you might see.
Yeah.
Now, we're not going to show you the range. We're just going to say the average is around 600.
George and Chad is saying that like, they explained this in a previous TWAB, but that's the problem. We're not going to go back and cross-reference previous data with previous TWABs of what they said. They need to say it here right now. Otherwise, we're not going to like...
Or at least link that.
Yeah, or at least link the article where they explain it.
Yeah, be like, here's a detail of how this.
I get it now. Do you get it? I get it now. I get what they're saying now.
I get it, but it now sounds like they're comparing apples and oranges. Like they're comparing.
Well, because before the averages was only 300 and negative 100, so it means you had more outliers, people that were doing really good and really bad. So you only had a 300 to negative 100. Whereas now, when you put all the bad people in, your average is now like negative 500. When you put all the good people in, your average is 600. So you're getting rid of those outliers on either end to bring the averages up or down.
So it allows for a lobby. The new skill-based matchmaking allows for a lobby to have a wider range of maximum and minimum skill levels.
No.
So like with the new skill-based matchmaking, you can have the average skill level be negative 500.
Yes.
Yeah, it's
and you could also have another game as an average as 600, whereas before you were having an average game of only negative 100.
Now I understand it. Milo, you explained it well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Now it works.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is what What's it saying? Which is you're in the average of 600, which is all sweating, and I'm in the average of negative 500, which is crazy.
Yeah. I wonder what a zero is. Is a zero like a 1 KD? I wonder.
0 would be mid tier. Like you're in the middle of the bell curve.
1 KD?
Middle of the bell curve, right?
Yeah, I don't know what the KD.
Yeah, if it goes
middle
minus 1,000 and well, that's the thing as well. This is another thing that we have in game to see how good we are is KD, but Bungie doesn't just use KD at all. They use how you play a match, how you play the map. Like they use a lot of data.
Teabag.
Yeah.
Maybe they use a lot of data. I would love to see that number because then it's not purely based on me killing things and not dying. I could go and like maybe I hold down a flag. I kill 2 people who are pushing a flag and we get to hold it for longer, or I get to like go in their spawn and kill some people, and I could see my number go up or down.
This is why I put my elo in my Twitter bio, so people know exactly what my skill level is.
Well, elo's also not it. I want the number. Listen, if you're gonna make me sweat, let me have a number. Thank you. Let me have something I can work towards.
Okay. Well, let's move on.
We got there. Yeah, we got there.
What else was there in the 12?
Okay. So, matchmaking. We have population. We have matchmaking time, skill difference, game outcomes. So this is there is more important information.
Okay.
Which some of this I was like, okay. Game outcomes. Looking at game outcomes where our work really matters, we see more interesting data. Mercy games are down 4%, not as much as we had hoped, but it's shrinking a little.
We've increased the fire rate by 0.04%. Great success.
Games where the score threshold has been met remain steady, and games that go to time rose by 4%. Yes, they did. Awful. Okay. These are all within range. And we expect that the first few weeks will be more chaotic than normal. As players readjust their playstyles from optimized play against a wide variety of players to optimized play against similarly skilled players, as in change everything you love about the game and go use your sweatiest loadout, gamers. Okay, I'm on it. I did. Can't use any guns I like anymore.
Tell me how you really feel.
Did you? Listen, you had to put away the Rat King?
I have to filter everything I say so much that eventually I'm just like, I want to use the new seasonal weapon, man. I can't because it's not the
You
the
sit
best
in your corner
thing.
and you suffer from your success. This is your own fault.
I will suffer. I'm gonna go play Apex.
I already got new Fortnite friends. You can play Fortnite.
I do.
Just go play Jav 4 and Fortnite.
No build.
I'm gonna go play Jav 4 and Fortnite.
No build Fortnite.
Yep.
Yeah, maybe I will. I can be Ikora Ray.
There it is.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. The skill system will adjust to reflect this change. We would expect Mercy games to shrink slowly over the coming weeks. Are you making the skill-based matchmaking tighter then? Is that how you're achieving that? What is going on? Or maybe people are slotting into their skill-based matchmaking more? If time limit games rise consistently during that time, we will likely look at the score goal and lower it to compensate. I feel like that's a band-aid to a problem.
It's definitely a band-aid.
That is deeper.
Yeah.
Why are games going to time more? Just lower the scores.
So all these things are definitely like red flags for you, right? Like that's why
it's a bit of a red flag. Yeah. Like
you're like, is the ship actually sinking? Like is this legit? You know, like
yeah, it's the thing of like people are readjusting their play styles. So now like you have to take off that gun and go use like your super sweaty gun because you're playing against similar level skill players. That's awesome. Hell yeah, let's go.
Where does Rat King fall in with that?
Rat King can do really well, but I can't use it on every map. I can only use it on the maps that never come up in the playlist.
Can I ask you guys a question?
Yes.
Based on this, it sounds like Bungie would like to see more games hit the score threshold. Is that right? Or do they want more games to end it by time? Because I would like to see more games hit the score threshold.
Yeah, they don't want them to hit time because they're saying that if that keeps happening where they hit the time limit, they're going to lower the score goal.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Because that's more exciting when you score the last point to win a game, not when you watch the timer count down.
Yeah, someone popped a bubble in the mid as the timer was counting down. It's like, guys, get in the bubble, 30 seconds. We just need to hold on to these 2 points. And we got the win in the bubble. Get to the back of the map. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good.
Curse and Chaz says games that go to time are like being stuck in a 50-minute League of Legends game.
Oh yeah, the League of Legends analogy I used today as well. If you play League of Legends, if you're an AD carry, you know the positioning is very important. If you do not position properly, you're dead. That's how it is now. That's how it is.
That's
I feel
right.
like I am an AD
if
carry
they don't
in
fix this,
control.
you're gonna be dead. We're
I'm
all
just
gonna
there. I'm like,
die.
oh crap, I'm sorry. I left my designated area. My bad. I'll go back. Sorry about that. I'll go back. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. So yeah, they're going to this definitely was a red flag of if the time limit games continue to rise, they're just going to lower the score goal, because I feel like if you see something happening, there's a reason for it happening, and maybe investigating why that's happening is good. And if you're like, oh, it's just because people have to play really carefully and they can't run around and like shoot people all the time now, then maybe that's fine. Well, I don't know.
Yeah, because that doesn't sound like fun running around shooting people. let's take that out of the game. That sucks.
Okay. As far as score and kill differences, we see a similar set of incremental improvements. Games where the best player had 30 plus kills more than the worst player went from 9% of games to 2% of games. Okay. Games where the best player had only 10 to 19 more kills than the worst player went from 35% of games to 55%.
Wow.
So,
SBMM's working.
Yeah, these are things that happen when
if a high skill player doesn't end up in a mid tier game, then those outliers, those 40 bombs, 50 bombs, like go away.
Yep.
Yeah. Quitting. Now here's the big one. Quitting. We have seen one worrying trend in the data. The percentage of players quitting before the end of the match has risen from 8% to 12% in the last week.
There's a quitting epidemic.
There is a quitting epidemic. Yeah. So they say this is especially bad with matches designed to be balanced with 12 equally skilled players.
Mm-hmm.
We are still investigating to see if this is localized to a specific cohort or playstyle, or if this is a natural player reaction to a new system. This percentage may reduce over time. No, it's going to go up. It's going to go up.
The playstyle of quitting matches? What?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, is it localized to a specific cohort or playstyle?
Like there's some subreddit that's like all shifty and being all like, yo,
it's me. It's me who wants to run around with a sidearm.
Like, what? That's who it is.
I want to run around with a sidearm, and I'm like, God damn it, it's disjunction again. I can't do this. I'm leaving. Oh, it's me. Damn it, it's me. Got it.
You're quitting games. Oh no.
I haven't quit at all this season.
It's the most skilled players that don't want to do it. And that's because, and I think it's just because it's the wrong playlist. They're not in that playlist to be sweating.
It's a lot of stuff like compiling on top of one another. Yeah. And there's this, I gotta say, there's this really like weird narrative that people are leaving because they're trying to protect their KD. And I'm sure there's like someone out there who's doing that. But if you're playing those matches, guys, it's so exhausting. Like I'll be honest, the games are just not fun. It's not fun to be like, I'm gonna sit here in this lane because I can't move without like 4 of my teammates with me and just sit there and try and shoot people. It's also not fun to play the same map over and over and over again, or the same like 3 maps when we have 23 maps and I see like 4. It's just, there comes a point when you have players who are playing these really sweaty, tight matches, there's just going to be a point that players get frustrated and they're like, I want to go to the next one. This is too much. I can't play this map. I don't want to be in this lobby. It's going to happen. Like the tighter you make the skill, people are going to get frustrated quicker and they're going to quit.
Specific playstyle and not liking a certain map.
Specific playstyle. That was really strange. I was like, what do you mean by that? Yeah. I don't really.
I read that and I was like, it's
what?
Strangely phrased.
Well, it's what you're doing. What's to want to be off meta? Like it's not enjoyable to be off meta in quick play, and so you're gonna play less. I mean, you're not quitting, but I think there would be people that have your play style, which is like, I don't want to sweat. I want to use whatever I want to use, and then going, nah, I can't use my Rat King, so I'll see you later, and they just quit.
Mm-hmm.
There's going to be a lot of that. I mean, ultimately, we play video games for fun, and I think people going into Control, like you said, Mylan, are looking for a more relaxed experience than going into Trials or Comp. So if they're finding it really exhausting, they're probably just going to be like, yeah, I'm going to leave. So, yeah, like I feel it is really bad. The quitting is really, really bad.
It's ruining a lot of games for people, right?
Yeah, and it's not even necessarily like, yeah, the quitting has gone up, but we're just not getting people back into the lobbies. It's just not happening. And like they even said here, when you have a system that's designed to be balanced with 12 equally skilled players, you lose one of those players and the game very quickly snowballs. So when that new person finally joins 3 minutes from now, they're like, "Oh, Jesus, I joined into like a really wonky game. I'm going to get out."
Yeah.
So it just kind of keeps snowballing.
I wonder if the middle tier though is experiencing the same backfill issue or not. Maybe it's just
I haven't played enough. I didn't notice it, but I haven't played enough.
Yeah. Like I said, I haven't jumped in.
I'm seeing people say like a lot of people have to sweat against me using a non-meta loadout. Yeah, but like I'm not saying that I expect to do as well as using a meta loadout. But it would be nice to go into the quick play casual playlist and kind of dick around using some stuff. Yeah, like I'm not gonna do the best thing ever with this gun that I'm not good with. But it would nice to be able to go, I can use this and not go, all right, I'm going to have to switch because I'm literally just spawning and dying over and over and over again. And like I said, I play Destiny 95% for PvP. And yeah. And again, it's the same narrative. Sweats want to relax by stomping on everyone. No, that's not true. We want to opt in. This analogy is not the best, but I'll give you an analogy, right? You as a PvP only player in Destiny. What options do you have for your gameplay in Destiny 2?
Gambit.
You do. You do have Gambit. You have strikes, you have nightfalls, you have dungeons, you have raids, you have GMs, you have master raids. They are all various different experiences of how much you're going to sweat. Right? How hard are you gonna go? Are you gonna get on comms? Are you gonna use like your loadout where you're making ammo for people? You have different experiences that you can have in Destiny. You're currently in PvP. There is one experience, and that is it. And not only is there just one experience, you don't get anything for playing that really sweaty experience. If I could get Ascendant shards at the end of a game sometimes, I'd be a lot happier. But you're telling me to play very much more difficult matches, not using guns that I don't want to use to get nothing. So there's nowhere that I can buy in of like I just want to go and like
I agree.
Use I don't know the new seasonal scout rifle or something.
I think the hard thing with obviously there's lots of complexity to matchmaking and PvP in general, and I think your point before, there's a lot of things compounding on each other, like the population, the lack of content, how long it's been left, and then the matchmaking on top of that. It's not just one solution. This is like when I used to work in a hospital, we used to have a dedicated team, which I was on, of complex cases to getting people out of hospital. People have been in hospital like over a year and they've got like lots of medical things, lots of complex social issues. And it's like, you need a whole team to come together to work out and everyone to work together to get them healthy again. And it's like PvP feels like a really sick patient that needs everybody's love with loot and maps.
Been in the ICU for way too long.
House MD to get involved.
They need the fucking complex case manager. They need
a lot of people think the Crucible's on hospice right now. Be like, really? It's not?
It needs a lot of help. And I also think, people who have we obviously can get our voices out there, right? And obviously what's like plays a lot of Crucible, and there's obviously a lot of people who do PvP who can get their voices out there too, and they're all having a bad experience. And I think it's hard as well for like average players because they're probably having a better experience, and then they just hear a lot of streamers and content creators saying they're having a bad experience, and you get that instant polarizing effect where it's like, well, it's good for me now, so I joke like suffer from your own success kind of deal.
No, that's literally what a Reddit thread was. They were literally like, "Yay, PvP players hate Destiny now! Hell yeah, let's go."
Which is not the right reaction, but you can easily see how people get to that pretty quick. And
I totally get it. I think that I would actually love to know from people who didn't play a lot of Crucible if they are playing more Crucible and if they see themselves playing more Crucible with these changes. I would love to know that. Because like I said, now that the PvP is not very fun for me, I don't really have anywhere else to go, so I'm probably just going to go to another game when I'm tired. But you have PvE, which clearly you were enjoying because you were playing Destiny before the skill-based matchmaking changes. But yeah, it's worth it if a lot of you have a lot
I'm
more
curious
fun
too.
and just more people in Crucible. I would love to know. Although I will say, I asked, don't go hunt this person, okay? But I asked someone on Twitter. Because I'm genuinely curious in people's experiences. I'm like, someone was like, I'm having so much more fun now. The gilded flawless people aren't stomping me. I'm like, that's great. How much PvP did you play? How much PvP do you see yourself playing? Like, give me some information. And they were like telling me their experience, and I'm like, that's awesome. And then someone looked them up to see how many games of Control they had played. And they were like, you have played one game of Control, which you quit out of this season. And they were like, well, bit weird for you to stalk me, but that was the time where my friend accidentally took us into Control instead of Mayhem. I'm like, Mayhem doesn't have skill-based matchmaking, bro. It's a placebo. No, I'm telling you, a lot of players, you give them a placebo and they will believe it. You can lie to them and they'll be like, hell yeah, it's easy now.
Yeah.
Because they had this perception that all of the sweaty monster boogeyman PvP players weren't in their game anymore. And they were like, I'm having so much more fun.
Completely agree. Like that is another thing that happens a lot. You die
on both
just
sides.
A handful of times and suddenly like it's the worst game and the lobby's unbalanced and all this stuff. And it's like really, it's like this very localized, just one-off situation. The mentality can spread very fast. So I get it. That's why I'm curious, like legitimately, if you have spent a lot of time in the Crucible and then you're jumping in now and you spend a lot of time in the Crucible, like, what is your experience? And assuming you're not a god gamer, like, let's say you are average and you played a lot in the past. Like, I'm very curious.
This is the hard thing with anything like this, which is Bungie has a lot of data, but it's very hard to get subjective experiences from people because you do have it very skewed from people who get their voices out there more. And then getting other people to engage in surveys or at least giving feedback or in the middle of the tier or at the bottom of the tier, very hard to reach out to. So it's really hard to get a good sense of not just data, but like actual experiences from people, whether it's working.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think ultimately, no one needs to look at the other side as like some kind of demon that's just there to ruin their life. I mean, ultimately, you have to understand from both sides that there's one portion of the population that is now enjoying Crucible and they can play more, but there's also one portion of the population that only plays PvP and they are not having a good time and they're thinking of playing other games or switching to different modes. Like I saw TV being like, yes, I'll play Rumble now. The skill-based matchmaking in there, but it's not as insane as all the quitting going on in Control.
And you know what? I think one thing we know that Bungie will act on is player numbers if it really tanks. Like if they see all of that top end just quit and stop playing, that's something they will act on. And it's actually Destiny players are pretty bad at doing this. When they don't like something, they just keep playing it. And I actually think the best thing to do is if you don't like the way Cruci is just don't fucking play it, because that will reflect in the data and be like, oh, okay, no one's playing a game. Nothing gets a company working harder when people stop playing it. We've had this proof.
I think we should probably move on from Crucible and SBMM discussions.
Correct. Let's go.
But good thoughts on it. Good feedback.
We do have some future plans that I think it's worth noting of stuff. So there's a few points of concern that they are addressing: the number of poor connections and the number of players quitting. Other than those, most of the analytics have been positive, considering this is a new experience and will take some folks time to get used to. So for now, these are the steps that they are taking. They're extending the time that loose SBMM will sit and wait for the best connection quality between group leaders. Hopefully, this will increase the overall connection quality when matchmaking goes past 2 minutes. I'm waiting more than 2 minutes. It better be good.
Yeah.
Because I'm willing to wait longer if it's good. We have some new analytics coming online soon, which should give us a better picture of the connection quality between all players and not just group leaders. And they're going to be adding quitter protection to control in a future TWAB. It's important that we say quitter protection because quitter protection is very different to quitter penalty.
Yeah, I saw that. A lot of people are like, oh, they're penalizing quitters. And I was like, they said protection, which is different.
Yeah.
They're protecting the quitters.
I
They're putting them back in.
Quitters do win.
They don't let you leave.
It could just be like they loosen up the settings to get someone backfilled faster. You know? So for protection like that. So they're not penalizing people for quitting control.
No, that would be really bad. You don't want to play your like casual mode and go like, nope, got disconnected. Nope, gotta go do this thing. I'll play some PvP while I wait for my raid team. Gotta go for a raid, and then you can't play.
Yeah. There's a lot of this TWAB, unfortunately, is a bit cloudy for situations like
right?
that. Yeah,
it's it's feely. Here's how we're thinking and feeling.
Was that it for the TWAB?
No, there is King's Fall stuff. And there is a picture of Ido Kell, who is gorgeous, and we all love her. She's beautiful. We love her.
Gorgeous is the word I'd use.
Gorgeous.
She's blue.
So Zavala, he's gorgeous.
We're talking about King's Fall rate, and we've got some stats. I always love stats.
Yeah, I like these
doing
numbers.
I love numbers.
Yeah.
So King's Fall round Destiny 2 fight. Total numbers of players that entered the raid. 450.
Is this just in the first 24 hours?
Yes,
or over the weekend? Or
this is the first 24 hours.
24 hours. Okay.
Total players that entered the raid. Normal, 458,000.
Wow.
Challenge, 35,000.
Wow, that's a big difference. Almost 500,000 entered normal and only 35,000 entered challenge.
It's a large number.
Yeah.
Total Guardian deaths. Normal, 33.6 million. Challenge, 2.8 million. Players that cleared totems, normal, 158,000. So 158,000 of 458 cleared the first major encounter.
Wow.
300,000 didn't. That was as far as they got. 300,000.
Yeah. Challenge, 31,000 cleared totems. Players that cleared War Priest, 63,600 in normal.
Ooh.
Out of 500,000.
That was quite the check.
Yeah. 21,000 in challenge. Players that cleared Golgoroth, 52,000. Now look at that difference.
Yeah, that's
from
not as big a difference.
to 52. It's like you get past War Priest and you're good. You can finish the raid.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
500,000 enter the raid. 300,000 of them get stuck at totems. Another 100,000 get stuck at War Priest, but only 10,000 get stuck at Golgoroth.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Players that cleared Daughters, normal, 49,800. Again, 52 to 49.
Cruising along.
Not a big difference. Challenge was 17,000. So total hours spent in King's Fall, normal 1.9 mil, challenge 208. Crazy.
That's cool. I like when they share that stuff.
I love numbers.
Yeah. Can we just point out, dead game? 500,000 people playing the raid. Dead game.
Dead game. 1.9 million hours spent in King's Fall.
Do we know what this compares to previous in like numbers, total numbers?
Sure, we could figure it out if we were to
be in a previous TWAB.
Yeah, it'll be somewhere.
I'm interested to see what it was like on the Friday and so early after. And even though it wasn't really an issue, like I guess like you didn't have to level up or anything really, could jump straight in. It was just on a Friday really.
Mm-hmm.
There's art in here that is by I Am Beloved, and it is Callus, little baby Callus, sitting in a bubble bath with bubbles on his head, and the witness giving him a rubber ducky. That's great.
That's pretty cute. A little snot bubble.
Yeah. Very cute.
Yeah. Is it a Zavala rubber ducky?
It is a Zavala rubber ducky.
Bungie store, please make Zavala rubber duckies.
They have a bunch of rubber duckies, actually. I don't know if there's a
Do they?
Zavala one, but yeah, there's definitely rubber duckies.
That.
Good movies of the week too. There are 8-bit raids in here. There was also an interview with one of the players who was on the team that's three-peated it all of going world's first.
Unbelievable.
Back to back.
That is real impressive to me.
Yeah.
3 times.
It is, yeah. Oh, and then also there's an emblem. So if you donate $50 or more by Friday, September 30th to their Rubicon for National Preparedness Month, you will get an emblem.
Nice.
Cool. You guys love emblems. There you
go. I know we're short on time. Can we do a few Twitter questions?
Yeah, we didn't talk about the seasonal story this week. It wasn't too long.
But Mithrax.
Mithrax and Ido Kel.
What's going on there, Mithrax?
Well, pretty basic story-wise. No real sort of overarching narrative yet. You know, obviously, Aramis is brought back to life by the witness, which we sort of predicted, and they're hunting these ancient relics, which we don't know anything about. Ido is, I think, stuffing around the relics probably going to lead to some sort of disaster. That's my prediction.
Yeah.
We got Mithrax, we got the Drifter, and that's about it. There's a lot of backstory on the Fallen and how they actually became scavengers and pirates, which is what some of the lore goes into. Like how they lost all their culture and they became quite ruthless, and they had found these relics, and that's why these pirate crews are coming back to find them and give them to Aramis, which is why the witness revived Aramis. So we haven't really got anything crazy yet. I'm thinking that something's going to happen with the relics, maybe with Ido, considering she's a new character brought back in.
Yeah, there was some foreshadowing. Like the Drifter was like, I got a bad feeling about those relics, and wondering if it's possibly going to bring in some sort of like darkness connection with the witness or something.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's how they're going to bring it back in.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hope so. Otherwise, it will. I like the theme. They've got a great cast, like Mithrax, Ido, Drifter, all really good characters to have in a season, but there's not much hooking you in yet.
It's the lore that's the interesting part outside of the story mission, which is strange. Because like you listen to all the stuff and you read the lore books and you're like, what's going on here? Mithrax used to like eat babies or something? What's happening?
Old babies.
Yeah, they're definitely hinting at like
babies do look delicious. Can you blame them?
Yeah.
Blueberry.
They're definitely hinting at a dark history of Mithrax. You know, almost like
blueberry babies.
Yeah, he eat babies and stuff or something like that. They're sort of hinting at like Same 14's monster story, like Mithrax's monster story almost.
Oh, interesting.
So,
yeah.
If we get
who doesn't have flaws,
that would do.
Yeah.
He who has not sinned, throw the first stone.
Throw the first
pound of glimmer. This is Briar who wants to kill Alt Crow still, and he's like, yeah, it's okay. Mithrax eats babies. So he's resolved. He can come back. It's fine.
Yeah. Was it Spider's real name? Was that the official reveal? Rackus.
Yeah.
Rackus. Yeah.
Rackus,
cool name.
Yeah, that is cool.
Very cool name.
It's cool that they're
like
peeling back more layers.
Yeah. Getting a bit of OG Spider lore as well, like when he was first sort of a youngling and born and that kind of stuff. Definitely going in some backstory of the Elixir. They gave us a new time period called the Long Drift, which is like after the whirlwind and before they just settled, on Earth trying to get the Traveler, and essentially just sort of space pirates chasing after the Traveler.
Mylan, are there Fallen anywhere else in the universe, or are they all?
They could be. There hasn't been mentioned, but they could be. Yeah. They were in the Long Drift for some time. Yeah. And the Ketchers sort of, they talk about how the Ketch, replaced their homes, and that's how they sort of fell into this piracy, and they had to kill to survive, and Aramis like literally traded babies and stuff like that for treasures, and they couldn't feed them they didn't have enough ether to feed them. They talked about how they're gonna need to work out how to cull their pirate ranks. Essentially,
they hinted at cannibalism.
Yeah, they ate each other.
What? I'm not the eating people. I eat the little babies, not the whole.
Do you have anything to say about this, Briar?
Kick Rackus.
I wish it was retro slot night. Never get eaten on retro slot night.
Not yet.
I've been enjoying the seasonal activity. I think it's fun.
It is fun.
I still like it.
I like the vibe. I like the fun. I got the freaking finally we can use the grenade launcher that shoots literal cannonballs.
Oh, not
done that yet.
Yeah.
Either.
Yeah.
I haven't really spent much time. I'm trying to do my pinnacles because I hate doing pinnacles. I want to get it over as ASAP. So I'm doing pinnacles at the moment.
I don't even worry about it at this point. Like if I hit the cap, fine. If not, I'll be there next season, like instantly. So.
Yeah, but I want to this. I want to actually try GMs with the new. I haven't been back into GMs since all the new subclass reworks. So I want to see what it feels like now. But,
can I go punch everything?
Well, that's what I'm hoping. I don't know if you can. Probably not, but
the new Hunter chest piece could be cool because you go invis, you do a finisher, get overshield for everybody, reserve overshields.
Does it take special, or does it take super energy to get that overshield?
No, it's kind of nuts. The chest piece is pretty nuts. You do more damage coming out of invis. When you do a finisher near an enemy while you're invis, you get reserve overshields. Anyone can use the overshield by using their class item. And when you finish someone, it weakens all the enemies around it.
Oh wow,
that's good.
Makes them vulnerable.
Dig it.
Yeah, it's very cool.
Cool. All right, let's do some questions. Got a little bit of time left.
Some questions. A little bit of
time. Zachary Richens said, we had Australian slang. So here's a few American phrases and words Mylan has to guess what they are. So I'm going to read off the...
Nice.
Okay.
All right. So the first one is shexting. Ask me if you need a spelling. Shexting.
Shexting, like sex texting.
No. That'd be sexting, I believe.
Okay.
But what about
we're talking shexting?
It's when you go like, oh, it's so shexty. It's like shexty.
Wait,
shexty.
SHEXTING.
Wait, you guys actually know what this is?
Shexting.
No.
No, this one's new to me.
No idea. I have no idea what this is. This sounds made up.
I'm gonna read it off. It's texting your friends or loved ones, or even an annoying coworker whilst taking a shit. Shexting.
Oh, okay. Yep.
I'll remember that one though. I didn't know it before, but I'll remember it for future use for sure.
Huh.
Okay.
No.
FYI, I'm shexting you right now.
Then they're gonna think it's sexual.
Yeah,
hey.
They will. They will.
Well, won't they relieve to find out the truth? The next one. This is a phrase.
Okay,
she could eat corn through a picket fence. Picket fence. Picket fence, but it's
she could
spelled
eat corn through a picket fence.
PICKED.
Yeah, she could eat.
I mean, I don't know if I can say what I want to say on a podcast.
Yeah, is this also sexual?
I feel like I'm in terms of service.
I'd like to hear. What do you got in mind? She could eat corn through a picket fence.
I mean, if you say that in Australia,
gonna be drinking Foster's
and get a fight with anyone?
No. Drinking Foster's out of a.
Yeah, I can suck a Foster's out of a
like a
straw and a.
No, it's not that.
That's what it sounds like.
It means they have fucked up teeth. Let's see, because the teeth go through the picket fence.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I don't think this is American slang.
No, I've never heard of this before.
There was
but I
corn
it was
in there, so it's got to be American.
Yeah, corn. Yeah.
It's maize. Z says, why do you guys rarely have guests anymore? Is it because Pope is no longer putting in that work? Love that show, all you regardless, and tune in each week. No, the reason is because a bunch of people in the Destiny community turned out to be shitbags, and we're afraid to have them on the show.
Yep.
takes a little bit of extra, time vetting people.
Yeah. So it's actually it's twofolded. There's that aspect of it, but also Pope did do a lot of background work, and he was pretty aggressive at lining up people. And once that changed, we decided to like take off the steam. Like maybe once a month or something, right?
There were a couple things. Yeah, it was like Ash was really busy. So we wanted to not give her like a crazy schedule all the time. So that kind of made it less. There was not having Pope harass people till they come on the show.
He was aggressive. He was,
He is aggressive. He's aggressive, but it worked. He got stuff done.
Every week we had a new guest for like
a
couple years.
And then like also I think there's some conversations that are probably not great to have a guest on for, like when a new season launches, for example, or we just do the raid, or like something has happened. It can kind of feel like you're just pushing the guest in the corner and they don't really have a time to talk about themselves or give their opinion, because there's so much information in Destiny to go through.
Yeah.
That I don't necessarily want to invite people on to just be like, hey, I stream Destiny, I started here, let's jump into the news, and then they don't get to say anything.
Yeah, that was the other thing too. Yeah, like the interview portion, we always had the format of technically an interview is going to happen for about 30 minutes or so, and discuss experiences and all that, and then move on to Destiny news and questions and all that. And that got a little difficult during certain shows to do that properly.
And then you'd have people go, why are you ignoring your guests? Why are they not talking?
Yep.
Yeah.
Viewers,
I would
have
every time a guest would come on, I would tell them, nobody is going to ask for your opinion, just butt in.
Yeah. We're a hyper organized show.
I invited myself onto this show. I gave myself the position.
Yeah. We never even met this guy before. He just showed up.
It's been showing up every week.
I think that's how we all got it. Just started showing up. There was a real uncomfortable morning where I had to go through the YouTube videos and unlist all of the people who were basically turned out to be complete shitbags.
There was a Destiny reckoning.
Yeah.
Community reckoning.
If you're ever wondering why some of the episodes aren't on YouTube, well, wonder no more. Majestic Mofo, that's a great name. Love the show. This is from Mylan. What is the lore on Fortnite?
Did you get
why
Fortnite
does
lore?
Ryu have a machine gun? He does karate. He doesn't need a machine gun.
I don't know what I was gonna say. You know what? The best thing about Fortnite lore is Polka. We got the Exo Stranger fishies in there, and everyone's talking about it. It's named in there. That's nice.
Is there a lore tab?
It's
kind of.
Lore tab.
That's kind of. Well, I mean, when you look at the ghost, it says Polka, and it's like, oh, the ghost. This is the Exo Stranger's companion or whatever.
Oh, okay.
Kind of a lore tab. Okay. A little bit of a lore tab. More lore than we had in Destiny about the Polka.
Polka.
Yeah, that's true. Polka. Yeah, Fortnite.
Diamond Command says,
I'm fighting
Coke or Pepsi?
Coke. Easy choice.
Hey, I had an interesting conversation where some places call everything Coke in the US. Even like a soda pop is Coke. Everyone just I was like, huh? They just call everything Coke.
Yeah.
Well, there's also the soda versus pop distinction.
Yeah,
historically pop
very strong about that.
I'm gonna say it's sody pop.
Historically, pop has been Midwestern and soda is kind of coastal. But in today's modern age, I was thinking about this. Like there was more distinction of dialect between regions in the 80s, 90s, or before, and all that. And the internet, I think,
That's true. Before the internet.
Yeah, the internet has just kind of obliterated quite a bit of that.
Yeah,
I mean, it still exists
in a lot of very positive ways, but also kind of you start to lose the fun of traveling because the culture doesn't change as much as it used to.
True. Or you
used to go elsewhere. What's Mexican?
Yeah, it
Coke?
Does taste different.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mexican Coke is usually made with actual cane sugar.
Yes, and uses corn.
Does it come in a glass bottle as well?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah. You can get it in cans as well.
But
I won't drink
sugar.
either of them out of a plastic bottle anymore. I've discovered that I just don't like soft drinks in plastic bottles. A can or a glass bottle or a pass, unless I'm like dying of thirst. I mean, Diet Dr. Pepper is the real winner here.
Coke.
Not a sponsor, but should be.
I'm a big fan of vanilla Coke, to be honest.
I had cherry Coke Zero with the River people. It was delicious. I'd never heard of it before. It's delicious.
Coke Zero.
Yeah. I don't drink sugary drinks. It makes my stomach upset.
Yeah, I usually don't either, but every now and then. If I am, I'm going for a Coke.
Yeah.
James says, do you think they added skill-based matchmaking to try and get more people interested in competitive rework coming next season?
Conspiracy theory about this?
More people are like, "Oh, this Crucible pretty nice. I'm gonna go play comp." They're not gonna go play comp.
Yeah, I don't know if that was the intention. Yeah, they sort of.
Well, because guess what has always had skill-based matchmaking?
Comp.
Rumble and comp.
Oh.
But yeah.
Well, comp's not skill based. It's more like rank based.
Rank based,
sort of.
yeah.
Is
So
it?
you'd have to play a little bit, but yeah, there have been places that have had that opportunity to play with evenly matched players for a while, and they have not shown up there. So I don't think you're gonna. I mean, maybe you'll have some people who end up being Crucible players, and then they're like, I'm gonna go play comp, especially if there's like some cool stuff there. There's a new slug shotgun in Trials this season.
Get good at control, become a god at Trials. Start carrying people. Start charging for carries.
It's true. Yeah.
Start service on eBay.
Ramon CG says, what would be Oryx's answer to drinking snake?
What?
Drinking snake.
What's your favorite drinking snake? What would the Oryx
What the hell is
answer
drinking snake?
Drink and snake.
What's your favorite drink and what's your favorite snake? It's two separate questions. Get on the fucking program, man.
Big Australian! Drinking
That
snake!
is Australian. There's snakes in there.
Drinking snake! I don't know what you're saying.
Drink and snake.
Snake.
Drink and snake.
Snake.
Drinking snake.
What's your favorite drunken snake?
Yeah.
Drinking snake. Okay, copy.
I don't know the
Oryx
deep
is
lore.
Cobra because of like the big wide head, maybe. Like
I mean, his least favorite snake would probably be Taipan or whatever because he's keeps getting
True.
slapped by that.
That's true.
And drink.
I think he's a Pepsi man. He's a Pepsi main.
Oryx is Pepsi.
Does look like he could put it in Pepsi.
He's a little bit different.
I think
Not
Oryx
like
is
Pepsi.
Baja Blast. Definitely. And he's eating,
that's more taken.
Okay.
Yeah.
he's eating some chalupa crispy. He's eating something from Taco Bell.
I'm gonna read 3 more questions.
Okay.
Okie doke.
Copy.
Auntie Krauser says, what happens to Boom in the Bing Bang Bong callouts?
We already said
Doesn't
if
exist.
there's a 5th or 6th plate or option for the rotation, boom 1, boom 2. That's how it goes. Okay.
Write that
Also,
down so you don't have to
bong-
ask
like-
again.
Bing bang bong 1 bong 2 rolls off the tongue nicer.
Yeah, it does. You also get
And
double
bing
bong.
bang bong boom. Gotta-
I'll be honest. When you did bong 1, bong 2 at first, I wasn't a fan, but it did grow on me. And it has allowed for the call out to War Priest to remain the same rather than right, left, mid, whatever. You do bing, boom, bang.
For War
Wait,
Priest.
Boom?
Bing is right, boom is mid, bang is left.
So no Bong in War Priest?
No, there's no bonging in War Priest.
Yeah, you gotta keep it
Bonging's
separated.
reserved for Oryx, yes.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Bing, boom, bang.
I appreciate you.
Yeah, fine.
Appreciate you approving the double bong, Island. You know, I felt like it was a moment of divine inspiration that came to me, realizing that it's bong 1, bong 2 on the right.
I just like the slow progression of people taking it up because it was just me and Tefty really waving the flag for the bing, bang, bomb, boom.
Because
On one.
Holtzman was about to murder us.
Oh, Holtz was pissed
Holden,
about it. He was
but
not having
Then
it.
what started sliding in the bings and the bangs, and then Next raid, everyone's doing the call outs.
Because Holtz was like, he told us, he was like, I'm not going to be playing any games tomorrow. I'm spending time with my girlfriend. And then he's here with us dealing with Bing Bang Bong 1 and Bong 2. And he's just like, if you don't stop, I'm leaving. So.
That's great.
Yeah, but then what happened is we had then the whole front and back conversation started, and then Bing Bang Bong was the better option.
Yeah, Bing Bang
it was the
Bong
better
1, Bong 2.
option.
Yeah.
That's how you get people into it. You're like, oh, what's front? And then they go, oh, this. And you're like, well, I think it's this one. And then they argue a little bit. And you go, all right, what about Bing Bang Bong 1, Bong 2?
You read them the 4 Bs of Oryx plate rotation.
Have you seen the burger call outs?
Yes.
No.
Go on the next question. I'll bring up a diagram for you.
All right. Awesomeness says you get $1,000 for every person you annoy. What is your strategy for becoming a millionaire?
Just gonna go and tell people that the front is the back and the back's the front. Every raid. I'm gonna
Twitter?
LFG all day. I'm going on LFG. I'm gonna load in and go. So front back. What's up with that? What do you think?
That's 500,000. That's 500,000 people times 1,000. That's good money.
Yeah. Actually, it's easy for us because we're on a podcast and we get enough
Just talk about it every
downloads to
week.
where we could hit that million pretty quick.
I'm just gonna interrupt Watts.
There it
the
is.
burger?
I present you burger call outs.
Okay.
Patty,
All right.
patty, tomato, onion, lettuce.
I like it.
Interesting.
That's good.
I like that.
In case you need rotations, like someone to get your bomb, you got mustard, mayo, ketchup.
Well, you got the pickles in the middle.
Pickles are the death singers, correct?
Pickles are the sisters. The
nice.
pickle sisters.
The
And
pickle sisters.
top and bottom of bun. Top burger bun, bottom burger bun.
I like it.
I like how they go top and bottom instead of front and back. That's smart. Just completely avoid the whole conversation.
Yep.
Good thinking. Which is the top?
Which is the top bun, Mylon.
I mean, Oryx is definitely a power top. So
Yeah.
Unless you eat your burgers upside down or in Australia, top is where Oryx is.
Doesn't look like
Hugo
it
Rune
from that
79.
picture.
Hugo Rune 79 says, which sport would most benefit from a mandatory amount of alcohol consumption? And on a scale of jolly to quick to get a stomach pump and tell my family I love them, how inebriated would the participants need to be? Oh, so this isn't which sport would be better as a spectator drunk. It's
Playing.
which sport would be better.
We already
if the people who
decided this
played.
a while ago.
Oh, really? What is it? What's the answer?
It was the ice thing where you throw the ice thing and you
Curling?
Yeah, curling? Yeah,
curling.
Oh, okay.
Curling.
Yeah, that would be pretty funny if those guys were in a house.
Yeah, because
They're on ice and they're like, woo, and they got little brooms. It's gonna be great.
Yeah, you're right. Yep.
NASCAR would be funny until the drivers got interviewed.
Until they're dead.
Yeah, NASCAR is just dead bodies.
I mean, if no one died, any car racing would make it a lot more exciting. There'd be a lot of crashes.
Okay, yeah, I'm with you. Yeah, you're right.
I mean, safety equipment is so good now.
Yeah.
Maybe
the
monster
meta.
We get
driving.
them all high and watch them drive around the track at 10 miles an hour. Yeah, you're right. That's true. Curling was the answer. We already answered this question.
Curling.
So do a
Solved.
backup.
Backup, sure. One
Mohegan
more
9.
backup.
One more. Mohegan 9 says, how do you guys feel about having to have a certain loadout to complete the raid day one? And what's the best gold shader? Watts, what's the best gold shader?
My favorite is Callus's Shadow because it doesn't really have any other colors going on in there. It's just like different variations of gold. Callus's Treasured is nice. It's a deeper gold. And it's
Are
got
those
some
from the
purple.
raid?
Yeah, those are Callus Shadows.
So they're not available
Callus
anymore.
raids. Nope.
Those
Those are just my favorite when I go for gold. Because they're gold. Obnoxiously gold.
Mm.
And how do you guys feel about having to?
Yeah, the loadout
Yeah,
situation. This
loadout.
is kind of like the thing that Mylan was talking about, having to have eons. Like, on one end, it's kind of the way that you do super difficult material in a loot-based game is have specific things that are going to work. Otherwise, like, I don't know. This is a game designer question. Like, how difficult can you actually make something with a infinite amount of loadout changes versus having to build towards gear that is propped up. Like you need to have a certain type of subclass, super, and all that stuff to, and divinity and all that. Like, I don't know. Because
I think I'm personally okay with it for day one. As long as like later on you can.
Yeah, day one raids. I'm like, okay to a degree. I think Mylan's point though is troublesome, like having to be the ammo bitch running around making ammo bricks for people. That is annoying. And that could easily be fixed. Issue, though. Well, no, that is like that's a loadout that's had to be the case in order to do this challenge.
That's more because of the ammo economy than because of loadout. So I mean, no matter what heavy weapon you were running, you're still running out by phase 4.
Yeah. True.
Yeah, I think. Oh, my brain is dying. I think it feels cheap if you master the mechanics, but you wipe because you all run out of ammo. I would rather the mechanics be harder and you wipe because you were not coordinated or whatever than you have everything perfect and you just didn't have the ammo to finish it.
Yeah.
Especially when there's only a certain amount of DPS phases. It's not like dungeons where you can just infinitely do it until you get your ammo. Like that's quite nice. If you're not lucky, you just have to survive longer. So then it becomes a skill game. Survive longer until you get your ammo, and then eventually you'll finish it. But when you only have like 4 phases to do DPS and you've mastered the other mechanics, and the only thing stopping you is that, well then it does force your loadout to be Aeons, and I don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah, I feel you on that. I agree. Yeah. And also, we had this problem solved in D1. Heavy ammo synths. Out of ammo, just pop a synth. 5 minutes later, you can pop another one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I guess that's maybe what they want for hard content. I guess that's the thing. We don't know. We don't know if the ammo is a part of what they want it to be difficult.
Yeah. RNG drops of ammo.
And maybe it is, and then maybe that's the expectation. I do feel like the Aeon use, although it's been there, I think it's coming up to the top of people's radar a lot more. Like for me anyway, like I think Valve Disciple, I was like, oh, how do people get to this? Oh, they use Aeons. Like, and then now this again, so I'm like, okay, now like Aeons is like something we've all got to prepare for to go in. So people are going to be a little bit more prepared for a contest mode.
Yeah. That is one of the things. Like if it's in the game, the designers of the encounter are going to consider all the possibilities. And if it's like a high-end difficult encounter, they're going to say like you have to have this scenario work out for you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, them's all the questions. That's the podcast, right?
Done it.
Once again,
that's the party. We did it.
Solved all the mysteries of the Destiny universe. You are welcome.
You are
Congratulations.
Welcome. Yeah.
Watts is officially
wiser
quitting the
now
Crucible.
Than you were 2 hours ago.
I can't play it as much, man. It's truly torture. I can go play Rumble. I'm gonna listen to TV. I'm gonna go play Rumble and comp where it's
Rumble's fun.
Comp.
I like Rumble.
It's chilling.
Let's go.
There you go.
Compy comp.
All right. Well, thank you very much for hanging out, listening. We appreciate all the support. Shout out to our Patreon members and our Twitch subs. And make sure to go watch Mylan and watch the stream and all that stuff. We appreciate it, guys. We will see you next week. Everybody. We'll see you Monday.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
See ya.
Oh, your mother.